What's up, friends? How's it going? Can you hear me okay? Thanks to Ever who hooked me up with a membership last stream. As always, Joel has lulled me to sleep. Nice. Yeah, going into this coming weekend, I should probably be recording the bonus content, I imagine. Just in time, needed a big distraction, big time. Have a safe night. Heck yeah, that's what I'm here to do. Distract. Obfuscate. Today has been rank. Thankful for the stream. Today's been a ranked game. Where the extra chunky chicks at? Says Ephraim. He's asking the real questions. Bonehead content. Once a month, baby, for all the members. For all the members, you get some bonehead content. Just for you. Currently lesson planning at Panera. Glad to have you as a study buddy. Yeah, what does that entail, lesson planning? You just have to can't you just send them all to the mines? Have them earn their wages. Show them the realities of the world early on. Do you do shout out? I can shout you out. What's up? Megumi Muse with the one gifter to Shell. Thank you, Megumi. Shell, you now have access to bonus content. Anarchy Burger, welcome to the Buttersuck cult as well. Thank you, thank you. Have you played Starfield? I've watched a lot of gameplay of it, and it looks very underwhelming. Honestly, I don't think there's been many games that have come out where I've just been stricken with a sense of heck yeah, baby. Did you hear new Andre 3000 album drops Friday? Really? That may or may not be interesting to me. Because obviously the Love Below was one that I feel like everything peaked for him. But does he make a comeback? I don't know. There was something about the Love Below album that I felt like the fact that it didn't have a lot of pressure on him and he only had a couple of hits on it. Some of those deeper cuts from that album were just just a very pleasant experience. Haven't played Portal? Yeah, the Portal games are amazing. I recently, well actually yesterday and the day before, I went back and started playing Dying Light 2 again. Because there was an update for it that I guess had made it better combat, better parkour, and quality of life changes and shit like that. And I gotta be honest, it is slightly better, but it still just feels like a mock-up or test footage for the original game. Mike V, welcome back from us, says, how's life? Life is good, my friend. Just waiting for the big EMP to drop and ruin everybody's day. But yeah, I don't know. The Dying Light 2 has just kind of been overall, and it's weird, even though they made changes to it, there's so many times where I'm using combat and the weapons just don't make contact with they just don't make contact with the enemies. And I mean, there's some satisfying hits in there for sure, but I would say overall it just feels like they're playing catch up. And oh man, I look back and I'm I wish I could have gotten to them. I wish I had time travel abilities. Not so I could go back and stop 9/11 or anything like that. I would go back and I would talk to the Dying Light devs and say, listen, the engine that you're using right now is perfectly fine. Don't worry about trying to fashion out an in-house new one or anything like that. Just literally in the same way that you worked on DLC for the Dying Light 1 game, the following. Just go and make a sequel using that exact engine with some like updates and shit to stuff. And we will be happy, you know. Now, granted, I'm sure some of their development hell probably came during the period of, you know, COVID and stuff, but I don't know. Just a really upsetting experience. Because I feel like you still go back to like Dying Light 1, and it's like the draw distance is amazing. Everything blends really well together. The fucking, like, the lighting is like perfect. There, even though it has like a really strong lens flare, it like adds almost like a sense of realism to it, a sense of immersion. All the textures are like, there's so many times where you're up close on like the texture of something, and you can see like the minute details on it, almost like it's rendering a separate texture specific to when you're close, I think. And it just looks so fucking good. And the combat and the parkour, everything just feels perfect. I don't know what the hell happened. Haters. 10 locks with welcome back for 2 months to say, Jolie Joel, when you were younger, what games would you play in the early 2000s and the 2010s? RuneScape, Flash games? Yeah, I guess I did play a lot of like Flash games and shit. Go to like Candy Stand all the fucking time. Does anybody remember Candy Stand? It was like a website. And then there was this one website that I would go to called Stick Death. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Stick Death. But it was sort of like it was Flash games where you would like kind of choose your action. But those are always fun as fuck to do. I think it was just ran by like one guy. I never got into RuneScape, thankfully. Because I know a lot of those MMOs probably would. I was fortunate that I didn't get into World of Warcraft, because in 8th grade, where some of my friends were getting like addicted to it, I didn't have the computer capabilities to run it, you know, because it was high-end shit back then, those cartoon graphics. And then whenever I got new memory for it, it didn't fit in the computer rig that I had at home. And then my dad had no desire to like go find memory that fit our specific computer rig, so we just took the memory back. But it was funny because he ended up being the one later in life to like play World of Warcraft. Just got back from the gym. Never been to a Let's Read Live before. Well, welcome, Andy. Yeah, for the first 20 minutes or so, we got another 7 or so minutes left. We're just chit-chatting, chilling. And then I will be recording some Tinder stories tonight. Some spooky dating stories. You played Snakes and Ladders. There you go. It's always a good starter. Anarchy Burger, welcome back for one. Or no, actually, thank you for the gift. To Michelle Dig. Welcome, Michelle. Thank you. Burger, man. Appreciate you. How am I? I am good, though. Today was a good day at the gym. Tried a new technique today in my bench. So I did my normal warm-ups, right, for bench. But then we did this thing prior to getting to the working sets where I just took like 125% of my max and just held it in like a lockout for 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like you didn't actually bench it. You just kind of like unracked it and held it there. And it was really heavy because it was like fucking, I don't even know, like 310 or something like that. And I was like, there's no fucking way I can push this. But I just held it there for 10 seconds, which wasn't too bad. And then whenever I finally got to my working sets, it was like everything went up, like everything just like flew up because your nervous system was just like, oh shit, what's this shit? Aren't all Tinder stories horror stories? This is true. Joel, you're truthfully the best narrator. From your graphics and ambience to your voice, there is something elite about your content that I actually pay attention to and not use for background noise. Thank you. I'm glad we can pull you in. Yeah, that deep web video is one of my best performing videos in like a while. In like 24 hours, we got 75,000 views, which is like pretty abnormal for the channel. But I do my cardio. I do cardio on Mondays. It's sort of just like a circuit thing. And it was pretty cool because we have these sandbags. Like there's a 50-pound one, 100, 150, 200, 250. And you have to like pull it up to your knees and then like throw it over your shoulder. And I was actually able to do the 250 after doing the 200 in the workout. So I felt pretty proud about that. Big fucking piece of sandbag. And the nice thing is like before I would use the big sandbag, it was like 200 inside of the 250 bag. So it was like kind of like flopping all over the place. But this like sandbag actually stayed all like tight. So that made it a lot easier to kind of control it. You've been doing 5 to 10 seconds hold with pulses on the bench. Very sore. Nice, yeah. Yeah, I guess it's just all about chasing that tension if you're going for a nice little freaky pump. Get that freaky pump. Schleck, thank you very much. Good to see you. This one, though, the Tinder one, it's going to explode. Remember my words. I shall. I shall, Eugenia. Isn't there a Eugenia on YouTube that's pretty popular? She's not a fan of food. Joel's a Jack show? A Jack Rabbit. What's the timer for? Is it a countdown for you start reading? It is, yeah. We'll switch over to a nice spooky screen and do a little narration for you. Record tomorrow's stories and then edit them later. Your Kegel reps is on fleek. Can we get 100 likes? Let's get 100 Kegels. How about that instead? That'd be so funny if that was the exercise I was doing at the end of the live streams. All right, guys, 100 Kegels. Let's go. Prairie dog in my shit. What do you do when a person in your group project ghosts the first meeting and doesn't want to do any work? Oh, when the person in your group project ghosts the first meeting and doesn't want to do any work. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't, that means that you guys will probably have to pick up the slack, but, just kind of plan here. You would have to plan it like this. You would have to plan it that you guys do everything even without them. And then maybe a few days prior when there's no possible way for them to contribute, you would then have to, essentially be a snitch and tell your teacher, like, hey, this person didn't do anything, so it's bull crap. Or tell them early so then it gets them, like, actually doing stuff, but I don't know. Do girls poop? I don't know, man. It's one of those questions. Chicken or the egg? The girl or the poop? Oldest of all time. Ancient of days. I'm sure if they did, people probably wouldn't be eating so much ass now, would they? You're about to go camping with your Tinder boyfriend for the first time, as opposed to your other boyfriend. Girl dinner is eating poop. How's Pradeep? He's good. When's the next paranormal stream? I think that'll be next week. I'm fairly certain. I'm trying to do it like once a month now. Let's see. So the last one was 2 weeks ago. This Friday will make it 3 weeks. So like the week after that then. You release stardust and glitter while smelling like fresh roses. aka a big sloppy diarrhea. You drank 2 liters of strong iced coffee. That's awesome. Did you chug it? Shit, hold on, I gotta plug my mouse in, but I can't remember where. Oh, here it is. I'm freaking blind, bro. An early live. Yeah, we are a bit early, aren't we? Alright, let's rock and roll, baby. Perfect timing. In 60 years, the nursing home staff will be screaming, "Girl dinner," at the patients to get them to eat. And then they just start feasting. Girl dinner. Feast upon the boy's soul. Upon his flesh. That'd be pretty funny, like a zombie scene from a movie. Actually, if somebody could make that, if somebody's good at memes, remember in Resident Evil 4, whenever like the bell's ringing and all the zombies start kind of walking towards the church steeple? It'd be funny if like that happened and they start going towards the church steeple, and then somebody, or I don't know, something comes on screen that says "Girl dinner." Okay, so we got 5 stories tonight about les TINDER. And if you have a story that you want to submit it to reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial, or send it to email letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. Yeah, Leon does look good in the new one, but like, I don't know. He's just such a funny character, because he just is kind of like soulless, you know? Just feels nothing. And always has like some one-liner. My name is Sean, and I'm from East London, and I'm writing this on behalf of a very... Oh, god damn it. My name is Sean, and I'm from East London, and I'm writing this on behalf of a very close friend of mine who wishes to remain anonymous. Earlier this year, something happened to him that he couldn't talk about until fairly recently, and when he sat me down and talked me through it, it was one of the most terrifying things I've ever heard. The trouble is, he doesn't want to go to the police about it. I tried to talk to him... Take two. The trouble is, he doesn't want to go to the police about it. I've tried to talk him into it, that he should do it for the sake of saving other people from going through the same nightmare that he did, but he won't, or rather, he can't. And this puts me in a very difficult position. I can't just let it go. I can't have something like that happen to one of my best friends and just think, oh well, chin up and crack on. Something has to be done about it, and since I haven't got the finances or the physique to suit up and boot up like the friggin' Punisher or something, I've had to settle on a much more creative form of retaliation. Full disclosure, I have my friend's full permission to be writing this and sending it to you, because he agrees if there's one thing we can do, it's at least warn people that the same thing might happen to them. Also, one last thing, I've emailed the attached documents to a few other YouTubers and crime podcasts too, so sorry if it's not an exclusive, but feel free... I guess we don't need to fucking put that in the video. At the beginning of this year, my mate, who we'll just call Dave for the sake of ease, got himself a nice little flat near Tower Hamlets. He's been single for a few years and had himself a few quid to spare, so he starts downloading all those dating apps like Tinder and Bumble and all of that. He sets up all of his profiles, sets about swiping left and right, then ends up matching with a nice girl called Charisse. Charisse? I can't fucking read this name. Cherry Bomb? How do you say this? I'm gonna put it in chat. How the fuck do you say this name? Charisse? I asked chat BBC how to say it. Oh, Charisse. Let's call her Cherry. I feel like Cherry would be more memorable. Charisse. It rhymes with police and release. Release me from the police, Charisse. Chorizo? Yeah, probably. It's the female form. He sets up all of his profiles and sets about swiping left and right, then ends up matching with a nice girl called Charisse. Now Dave has heard all the catfishing horror stories, so he's careful. He doesn't just run out to meet up with his match. He talks to her back and forth for about a week. They move to WhatsApp and then they swap pictures and voice notes. Basically, Dave does everything barring, barring. Dave does everything bar-ass. The fuck is bar? Except. Mischievous dog. Amanda Funk, welcome back for 5 months. Says, I've been listened to your videos all day today at work. I appreciate you and your content very much. Thank you very much. There is a new podcast out today, I believe, too, right? Make sure that went up. Yeah. I was lost in the woods. Looks like people are watching that, which thank God. But thank you, Amanda. Good to see you. Is my father's name Tobias? Nope. Why are you asking me, or that's kind of weird. They move to WhatsApp, they swap pictures and voice notes. Basically, Dave does everything except ask for a scan of her passport, and decides that the girl is 100% real. He asks her out, she says yes. They arrange a date and time, and even though he was nervous about getting stood up, Charisse shows up no problem, and they have a nice little evening together. At the end of the night, Dave gets a kiss on the cheek before he sees her into her cab, and then an hour or so later, they swap texts about what a great time they had and how they should do it again sometime. Dave goes to bed thinking that he'd bagged a winner in old Charisse, but he also knew that he'd probably have to wait a week or two before being able to see her again. So, imagine his surprise when Charisse texts him the very next day, asking if he's free for a drink that evening. It's a Sunday, so he's got work the next day, but as long as he doesn't overdo it, he might head off to work the next morning with a bit of a spring in his step, if you know what I mean. Dave asks Charisse where she wants to meet, then suggests a few bars or restaurants, but no. Charisse doesn't want to meet at some trendy wine bar. She wants him to come round to her flat. Now Dave knows he's in the money, so he slaps on a bit of aftershave, calls a taxi, then grabs a bottle of wine on the round. He said it was more of the same for a while. Nice bit of music, nice bit of chat, and they finish off the first bottle of wine quite quickly. Dave knows that he should be heading off, and he knows that he shouldn't really be drinking anymore either. But when Charisse asks if he wants to crack open a second bottle before he calls a taxi, he says, why not? So off goes Charisse into the kitchen, and comes out saying, not too excited because it's only... Wait, what? So off goes Charisse into the kitchen and comes out saying not to be excited because it's only £6 from off license round the corner. Hey Jacob, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for the 10. So off goes Charisse into the kitchen and comes out saying not to be excited because it's only £6 from the off license round the corner. Dave doesn't care though. He's got other stuff on his mind, so he accepts the glass. Dave doesn't care though. He's got other stuff on his mind, so he accepts the glass. The toast to whatever they toasted to. The toast to? Maybe they toast to? I don't fucking know. Have the Parmenters become parents yet? I'm not sure, honestly, what Hannah's been up to. I only ever see her in here. But I hope they're doing well. I hope they had the baby and just living life as normal people. So he accepts the glass. They toast to whatever they toasted to, and then that's the last thing Dave really remembers until he woke up. The next thing he remembers, he's waking up on the same couch that he was drinking on God knows how long before. The only thing is, he can't move, and he can't speak. He can't move because someone's tied his arms and legs, but the reason he can't speak is because he's still under the effects of whatever Charisse, if that even was her real name, slipped into his drink. He said he was trying to say something, but all that would come out were those nonsensical groans. There was no one else in the room with him, and he knows that he's been mugged, so the only thing he can think of is to start shouting for help. A second later, the door bursts open, and at first Dave thinks, hallelujah, someone's come to rescue me. But when he sees the balaclava on the guy's head, he knows that he's still in a shed load of trouble. The guy in the mask, who also got a pair of gloves on, covers Dave's mouth with his hand, then tells him to stop making noises or he's dead. As he says that, he brings this massive knife into view. Not quite machete size, but still freaking massive and scary, so Dave does as he's told and just shuts up. His biggest fear was that the bloke was gonna film himself cutting his head off or something. So when the masked man started asking for the code to Dave's phone, he says it was almost a relief. Only trouble was, he was still so woozy that he couldn't get all 6 numbers out without slurring his words. The bloke starts slapping him, open-palmed, and over again round the face, shouting something like, "Tell me your PIN. Tell me your effing PIN code now." Dave's trying, but he still can't do it, especially not with this guy smacking him around the gills. But he can't tell him that, so the guy thinks that he's just messing with him and trying to keep his mouth shut. He suddenly stops hitting him, walks out of the room, then walks back in with one of those electric stun guns. He told Dave, "Well, this will wake you up a bit," and then started shocking him. And the worst thing is, he was right. I suppose pain is a great motivator, like the motivator. Hey, Jacob, thank you for the 10. Appreciate you. I suppose the pain is a great motivator like that, and after a few shocks, Dave was able to give the guy his PIN code. He had to do the same thing for his banking app, and he said that he felt sick knowing that he was about to get rinsed of all his savings. But when the masked man tried to transfer all of his savings, he kept getting error message saying it wasn't possible. The most he could transfer was something like $1,000, and then he started getting messages saying that he had to call the fraud department. Dave said that he was hoping that the bloke would just take the money and run, so to speak, but he rang the fraud line at God knows what time and made Dave take them through the steps of unlocking all of his funds. He lost tens of thousands of pounds, thinking that he was never going to see it again, and this absolute scumbag is literally celebrating in front of him, talking about all the stuff he's going to buy with Dave's money. Dave said he was fighting back tears, that it was the single most terrifying and humiliating thing he's ever experienced. But he said all the emotions emotion was like, hey, Jacob, thanks for the 5 gifters too. Polar Bear, Jorge, Skittles, Paradiddle, Falconry with Kai. Thank you. Yeah, nice, guys. Let me know that goes through for you. And let me know how you like the bonus content. And Haters with the 2 says, oh yeah, I don't know, man. It was kind of just like a one-time dealio. Thankfully no follow-up there. Or at least anything that I've seen. Mischievous dog. But he said all the emotion was like relief. Yeah, he'd been tricked, drugged, stun-gunned, then robbed blind. But it was done. The guy had his money, and he was most likely about to leave. But before he did, he needed a little bit of insurance, as he put it. The guy disappears into the kitchen, then comes back with a spatula that had a condom pulled over the handle. I can't even imagine how painful it would have been, and Dave wouldn't talk about what happened after that. But I know the guy stuck it where the sun don't shine, and then took a photo for good measure. Dave was told that if he went to the police or reported the bank transaction as fraud, the pictures would be sent to everyone he knew. And that's how it ended up being confirmed. That Charisse... Wait, Charisse? Charisse. Am I saying her fucking name right? Charisse, okay. Hey, there's Hannah. No, we have not become parents yet. 2.5 more months. I miss you all so much. Oh, well, good to see you. Perfect timing. What's the story behind a threatening email sent to Joel? It was just crazy people. They're everywhere on the internet. Some of them might not even be real, you know? It might just be trolling. But I've gotten all sorts of weird stuff. I don't really get it. I don't know if it's like the allure of the voice or there's some sort of disconnect, but I'm sure a lot of like content creators get some very threatening messages behind the scenes without even realizing it, or without people even knowing about it, to be honest. But this one was covered in the video, the Pennsylvania video. I figured, I'll include my own story here. Jacob, thanks for the 5, man. And that's how it ended up being confirmed that Charisse was... Charisse, police. Okay. And that's how it ended up being confirmed that Charisse was in on the whole thing. Because when that guy told him, "We know who you are, we know where you live," who else could have that information have come... God damn it. That's how it ended up being confirmed that Charisse was in on the whole thing. Because when the guy told him, "We know who you are, we know where you live," who else could have that information come... Who else could that information have come from? So, that all happening coincides with Dave just disappearing for a bit. He gave just about every excuse in the book, then after about a month of being busy all the time, he showed back up again, just like normal. He didn't seem like there was anything wrong with him. I did notice that he was drinking a bit heavier down at the pub on snooker nights. Snooker. Fuck. press like space. What the fuck? This is snooker, right? Snooker! It's not pool, it's snooker. Snooker. He put the cue down on the snooker table to contemplate his next shot. Snooker. Snooker. Gotta slide in some snooker action in this story. I'm gonna collab with Mortis again. I didn't have anything planned. Have you adjusted to the days being shorter? Oh, not at all. Not at all. It just is what it is. It'll be 3 p.m. and the sun looks like it's already going down. And I look at the sun and I say, what are you doing? You were normal not even that long ago. It's strange, like, I don't even know what is it? It's been just only a few months since August. But I just feel like it just, like, does a nosedive directly into fucking winter out of nowhere. Kind of like nook, as in breakfast nook. Snook. Snooker. I did notice that he was drinking a bit heavier down at the pub on snooker nights, but I didn't think enough of it to ask him if he was alright. We operated on a culture of if there's something you want to talk about, you'll talk about it. There's none of that girly, you'll be alright, babe. Are you sure you're alright, babe? We just talk when we want to. Now on paper, that's a great system, isn't it? But in practice, when you couple it with a certain kind of man's unwillingness to display any weakness or admit that he's in any kind of trouble, we end up with a recipe for a nervous breakdown. Dave was putting on a brave face for us, but at home, he was crushed. He'd heard that he'd be able to get money back from the bank, but also heard that it involved going to the police about what had happened. They needed to confirm a crime had actually been committed before the bank went ahead and refunded his money. He told me wanted to. He wanted to? Hey, Jacob, thanks for the 2, man. Stop reading your text messages. Well, stop showing them. Put your phone in sneaky mode. He told me he wanted to, more than anything in fact, but all it took for him to close the claim was to imagine those pictures of him plastered all over his neighbor's front door. After all of his savings didn't quite seem so important anymore. But then, it was his life savings, though. The pair of us are only in our early 30s, so hardly a whole life's worth of savings, but it was still a good few quid, so stressing about it made him ill, literally. Dave disappeared again for a bit just before summer, and again, we took him at his word that he was just busy. But then, when I happened to bump into him at Aldi's, he'd lost weight. Aldi's. Dave disappeared again for a bit just before summer, and again, we took him at his word that he was just busy. But then, when I happened to bump into him at Aldi, he'd lost weight. He smelled like he hadn't washed, and he was a mess, as in he was visibly ill, but still, he kept denying that there was anything wrong with him. He had me ringing his dear old mum up trying to find out what was happening, and that's when she tells me that she's also worried sick about him because Dave's not been acting himself for ages. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. I drove around to that... what the fuck? I drove round to that nice, still relatively new flat of his at a time that I knew that he'd be home, and I basically ended up confronting him in a soft way. In a soft way. I drove round to that nice, still relatively new flat of his at a time that I knew that he'd be home, and I basically ended up confronting him in as soft a way as possible as to why he was acting so strange. And that's when he broke down. He didn't tell me everything all at once. It wasn't as neat as I put it all together here, but over the course of that Saturday evening, then long into the night, Dave broke down everything that had happened over a crate of lager and a few of them disposable vapes. So, what? A few of them you'd smoke the whole fucking thing? Hey, Jacob, thanks, man, for the 20. Appreciate you. Perfect time about the blanket burrito. Hell yeah, dude. Joel turns to British English. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's totally fine. Usually it flows better, but for some reason it doesn't flow in my head very well when it's like very northern English or something. Or I guess this is London, right? I don't fucking know. He didn't tell me everything all at once. It wasn't as neat as I put it all together here, but over the course of that Saturday evening, then long into the night, Dave broke down everything that had happened over a crate of lager. It sounds a bit horrible, me saying so, but at first, I was actually relieved when he said that he got robbed. I was trying to steady myself to hear something like he got cancer or some other terminal thing, so hearing absolutely anything else felt like a weird kind of win. And that was just my initial reaction, though. And the more detail he gave me, the more I realized that it wasn't just some online scam or a street mugging or something like that. These people had destroyed him. Financially, mentally, physically. They took one of my best mates and turned him into someone I could barely recognize. There's not much else to really say. I want to be able to respect his decision, and I've tried telling him that. Say they really did post those pictures of him, and that says a lot more about them than it ever does about him. He's the victim in all of this, and there's no one in their right mind who'd ever think otherwise. But can't bring himself to go to the police, at least. He's not ready to do that right now. Wait, was that a sentence? But he can't. Maybe I forgot the he part. What's up, Fry? But he can't bring himself to go to the police. At least, he's not ready to do that right now. I feel like the only things I can do are, firstly, just be a friend, and passively support him until he's ready to be brave and talk to the police. But secondly, and with his blessing of course, we can warn other people that this is a thing that's happening to people. There are people out there, absolute scum of the earth type people, who are using dating apps to do sickening, evil things to people who are only trying to bring a bit of love into their lives. Grandma with a 7 Canadian says, the only thing I'm baking tonight is myself and all of these blankets. A blanket fort for the win. Get like a heated blanket and that'd be like one of those 1,000 ways to die. You get like a heated blanket and just boil yourself alive inside of a blanket. He quite literally cooked himself inside the blanket. But thank you, Grandma. Good to see you. How many ways can you say fucking London? Fucking London. Fucking Manchester United. Crap club. Absolute crap. I say that and I get shot in the head. Not properly seasoned. I saw a meme earlier where it was like the guy undercooked fish or something, and they're like, imagine being a fish that gets caught just to be smushed into smithereens by Chef Ramsay, and then it just shows him like punching the fish and it like explodes into a million pieces. Your parents are from Liverpool. Cool. How did you decide on your YouTube name? It was just sort of like back then when Let's Plays were popular. I thought, I will be Let's Read. I don't know. It just seemed like it got to the point. I do have exciting news that my Twitter, I now have access to the handle at Let's Read instead of Let's Read Creepy. The actual Let's Read, who actually was a booktuber that we started around the same time, and I didn't even know he existed. That was one of the things, like me choosing that name. I kind of wish that I would have chosen something cooler. But yeah, we both had that name around the same time, and he ended up getting the Twitter thing before me. But then he messaged me to be like, hey, that Twitter handle is now available if you want to use it. And I was like, wow, thanks, man. So that was very kind of, I think his name is Brock, and Brock is a very nice guy. A fellow Let's Reader. Polar Bear with the tennises for some hot cocoa, Joel. Thank you, Polar Bear. Your first ever super on live stream. Hey, Jacob with the 10 gifters. Damn. To Internet Grandma, Faso Latido, Faduma A, Sinking Hammer, Kales, Tanya AJ, Killer Leg 69, and R.E. Johns, and Emily Singer. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate you. I know there's been some like glitches related to the membership thing. Maybe Grandma's still here. Grandma, I don't know if you had a membership prior, but maybe you can check and see if now that you've been gifted one, if it goes through, just to make sure that there are no more issues there. I'm from Spain, or hi Joe, I'm still in Spain from the UK, and your British accent is debatable, but because I love you so much, you can only get it. Thank you, I appreciate it. What you mean? It sounds fucking spot on, don't it? Give me a break. Give me a break. Give me a break of that Kit Kat ball. Will I ever do planks again? I don't know. I don't know. Let me do core at the gym, and I guess we could. We could really challenge it. Mischievous dog. Alright, story 2 of 5. Mischievous dog. First things first, I didn't realize how hard this was going to be until I actually sat down to write it. You see, I've been a fan of you for a while now, and I've always thought that it would be cool to hear a story of mine featured in a video. But now that I actually have something to write to you about, I can't seem to find the words. I guess when something traumatic happens to us, we sort of compartmentalize it, as they say. Then, unless you have the cash to get a good therapist, you spend however long it takes processing it until you finally just sort of forget about it. It's like a suitcase that you stuff away in a closet, unpacking each item of clothing one at a time over the course of months, years, or even decades. Maybe writing this up will speed up the process along for me. Maybe it won't, but either way, I've started now, so I guess I'll finish. In about March or April of 2022, I decided that I was going to have a hot boy summer. I'd been single me and my college Wait. I'd been single, me and my college girlfriend broke up. Oh, there's supposed to be, I think they meant to have a comma there or some shit. What's up, Jay? So many Americans think Brits sound like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. They sound more like Billy the Butcher. Oh yeah. I've just eaten everyone. I've eaten all their brains. I'm a zombie. Bruh. I'd been single. Me and my college girlfriend broke up and hadn't dated seriously since about 2017 or 18, but I was also in no position to do so either. I was overweight, my apartment was a total man cave, and I had zero confidence talking to women. And so if I was going to date, I needed what one girl later referred to as a glow-up. I got an Equinox. Where even am I? What the fuck? I lost my fucking place. There we go. The problem with the Butcher is that a New Zealander is doing a British accent and it shows. Interesting. Yeah, I guess I would never pick up on that. I really like his voice for that. I mean, obviously it's kind of excessive. But yeah, if you're from there or you're familiar with either accents, you could probably pick up on that kind of stuff pretty easy, and it would probably be sort of annoying. Jacob, thanks for the 10. Have a good night. What the fuck am I doing? Okay. I got a gym membership, got myself an actual haircut, and started paying attention to what I was eating. Then, over the course of the next 2 months or so, I worked on bettering myself in as many facets as possible. It's incredible what some new clothes, a little weight loss, and a clean apartment can do for a guy's self-confidence. Then, once I actually had some, I downloaded a bunch of dating apps and got to swiping. I matched with a girl, we arranged a date, I was awkward as hell, and she unmatched me that night. It sucked, but I knew I just had to persevere. Take the rejection on the chin and not let it make it all bitter or whatever. Make me bitter? Maybe. Do a Canadian accent. I'm from Canada. It sucked, but I knew I had to persevere. Take the rejection on the chin and not let it make me all bitter or whatever. It took 2 more disappointing dates, but on the 4th, I finally seemed to nail it. I matched with a girl named Natalie. We chatted for a while, and when we felt that mutual chemistry, we arranged to go out sometime. Since I didn't figure the date was going really anywhere, I was engaged but also relaxed and kind of aloof. I didn't talk about myself too much, didn't ask too many questions. I just went with the flow and tried to just be myself, and not whatever I thought the girl wanted me to be. And apparently, Natalie was into it. We really hit it off, and when it came time for her to call an Uber, we seemed very eager to organize a second date. It might sound cynical, but I didn't really take her word. It might sound cynical, but I didn't really take her at her word. More than one girl had told me that she'd be in touch, and then arrived back at my apartment to find that she'd just unmatched me while I'd been riding the... More than one girl had told me that she'd be in touch, then I'd arrived back at my apartment to find that she'd unmatched me while I was riding home. I was happy with the date, but more because I felt that I'd finally found my rhythm, if that makes sense. I felt like I'd finally completed my transformation from undateable neckbeard to fully grown pizza, as I heard you say in one of your streams one time. Even if Natalie didn't call me back, I knew that I'd be able to get another date eventually, and that was one of the greatest feelings of my life, really. And then, Natalie did call me back, which was an equally awesome feeling, and we arranged another date for the week that followed. Day of the date, we step out, had a few drinks, and we stay in this one place until closing time. We actually planned to hit up other places, but we just talked and kept ordering drinks, and then the next we knew, it was closing time. We were both pretty drunk, but not nearly drunk enough to call it a night, so we went stumbling through the streets, laughing at nothing and trying to find another place to get some drinks. It might sound kinda lame to some people, but that night was literally one of the high points in my life so far. I could actually be the kind of person a woman wanted to be around. I could be that smooth operator I never in a million years thought I could be. But then to go from one of the highest points of my life to the literal lowest in the space of a few minutes, well, that was quite something. Well, let's just say that was quite something. Me and Natalie turned down a quieter street. Then we're about halfway down when I hear some guy behind me say, "Hey buddy, got a light?" I stopped, turned around and told the guy that I didn't smoke. He didn't look like much of anything, just a 20-something white kid in a hoodie and a ball cap. But when I told him I didn't smoke, he asked if I had a spare couple of bucks so he could buy himself a lighter. There was no way any cigarette lighter cost more than $1. I mean, I've never smoked, but I know a scam when I hear one. I just apologized. Told me that I didn't. Told him. I told myself. I was robbing myself. Haters with a 2 says you and everyone from Chilling should make a movie. That'd be fun. I know we're doing some big collaboration with Being Scared for Christmas, so that should be exciting. It's just going to be a big compilation of people narrating stories and stuff. That'll be fun. Sounding more Australian, think Michael Caine. Michael Caine, when he was young, he raised Bruce like one of his own. It was his best friend, his confidant, his lover. No, not that. Okay. Anyways, the Batman. I was Batman for a bit. They didn't want me as Batman because I can barely get around without me walker. Do you edit your videos after live streaming or the next day? I usually edit the next day. Go to sleep and then edit. I just apologized. Told him that I didn't have any change on me, but then the kid turns to Natalie and starts asking her for money, only he does it way more aggressively. When she says no, the kid tries to snatch at her purse, so entirely on instinct I gave the kid a shove and then tried to put myself in between him and Natalie. And that's when he stabbed me. I didn't see him get the knife out, but I knew right away that I'd been stabbed. It didn't hurt when he did it, but it didn't feel like any other punch I'd ever taken. It felt cold, like a cold punch. And then he grabbed Natalie's purse, pulled it out of her grip, and then ran off. I remember actually saying out loud, "Did that dude just stab me?" Because there was no blood on my shirt, but then when I lifted it up, that's when I saw the first blood, and that's when I felt my legs just stop working suddenly. I knew I had to put pressure on the wound, so I kept both hands clamped on the hole in my stomach. Mark Wahlberg? What the? Where am I supposed to be? What the hell? What's going on? Oh, fuck. It's me, Marky Mark. Oh, I feel like beating somebody up and getting no repercussions for it. Oh, fuck. Don't forget, I could beat the shit out of you. But I'm Catholic. I'm Catholic and I love my Catholic apps. I'm very kind. I love people, but I love knocking them out. I love punching them. I love hitting. I love it. It feels good. Oh, crap. Where am I? He wrote this story from the grave, yeah. Yeah, I guess the sex bots have been thwarted. Listening to me while waitressing. They should make some like really like low-key headphones you can throw in. Why is the guy the creep in most of your stories? I don't know. I guess it's just sort of part of, you know, men are filled with testosterone and, you know, since the dawn of time we've been like the more aggressive of the two sexes, you know what I mean? So, and you can't, you know, I feel like asking why are men the creeps is like asking why do men go to war, or why are there more men in jail, or why are there, you know, why do men have like bigger muscles, you know what I mean? Like it's like there's so many evolutionary concepts to kind of play into that, but that doesn't mean you don't get, I haven't had like more recently some, well, we just had the previous story before this was a girl robbing a dude, drugging him and robbing him. Now granted she wasn't the one sticking the thing up his butt, but she was involved in the process. But you know, you kind of have to stick to your strengths in a working system. So if she's going to be the one to use her sex to like lure him in and then drug him, and then it's going to be some other guy to do the physical labor part. What story topics do you like to read? Lately I've just been enjoying the ghost stories. That's why I kind of want to do them more often. And yeah, I guess that's true too. Like when it comes to antisocial behavior, men's like sort of presentation of like antisocial behavior is like physical, you know, physical punishment or physical harm on somebody, whereas like antisocial behavior on like women's side is sort of like the yin and yang, where it's more of a reputation destruction or like spreading of rumors and that kind of thing, because, you know, everybody just kind of, you know, the ends justify the means kind of concept, but we all have different means about justifying those ends, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. I said but? Oh my god. I should be censored. What's the poll tonight? Yeah, what do you want the poll to be? You think of something. Hey, what's up, Omar? I knew I had to put pressure on the wound, so I kept both hands clamped on the hole in my stomach while Natalie put my... fuck. I knew I had to put pressure on the wound, so I kept both hands clamped on the hole in my stomach while Natalie pulled my phone out of my pocket since hers had just been stolen. I remember lying on my back, kind of looking down and up at her as she went into my pocket, and how I was trying not to look at all the blood coming out from underneath my hands. By the time Natalie was talking to the 911 dispatcher, a bunch of other people had noticed me lying there with blood on my hands and ran over to try to help out until the EMTs showed up. It's weird because at the time, I remember being weirdly calm about the whole thing. The guy who put his jacket over me, who said that he had some first aid training, kept telling me, "You're gonna do fine, buddy. Just keep calm." And it was only then that I actually started to worry that I wasn't going to be okay. Maybe I've just seen too many movies, but when the first aid dude starts insisting that I'm going to be fine, I started to panic. Ironic, I know, but to me, you only say that to people who are in serious trouble and need to be kept calm so they don't panic and bleed out everywhere. I tried my best to keep cool, I really did, but the whole time while we were waiting for the EMTs, I had this little voice in my head saying, "This is it. This is how you die." It didn't even make it to fuck. Didn't even make it through my 20s. I got even more frightened when I realized how cold I was starting to feel. I was convinced that I was bleeding to death, that I had only minutes before I was about to pass out and just never wake up again. I've heard people say that when the thought occurred to them, like when they legitimately thought that they were going to die, they felt this sort of calm wash away. I've heard people say that when the thought occurred to them, like when the... What the fuck is this saying, brother? I've heard people say that when the thought occurred to them, like when they legitimately thought that they were going to die, they felt this calming wave wash over them. I did not feel that same feeling of calm. Instead, I was the most scared I've ever been in my entire life, and it was only when the EMTs showed up and I was still awake that I started to think that I might actually survive. And when one of them told me that the bleeding wasn't that bad, but that I definitely need surgery, I actually started to feel just a little less panicked. Wait, wasn't the EMTs already there, though, to tell him to chill out? Oh, first aid guy. Who the fuck is the first aid guy? It's weird to me at the first. I remember it being confused about the whole thing. The guy who put his jacket over me, who said, oh, he had some first aid training. Okay, makes sense. Oh, fuck. Distract you? What do you need distracted from? Does, what's his name? Remember that movie Hot Rod? Andy Samberg. You guys remember Andy Samberg? Does he still make, like, comedy and movies and shit? Does he, like, write movies or produce stuff? Because I always, you know how, like, do you ever notice that people kind of go through those motions within the realm of comedy? They'll be in, like, you know, they'll be in their 20s or maybe 30s or something, and kind of have, like, a pretty funny, like, comedy duo or, like, skit comedy troupe or something, and then they end up in, like, maybe some bigger movies and blah, blah, blah. But then I kind of feel like they just sort of, like, disappear. And then you always, like, wonder, like, what happened to him. Because I definitely feel like Andy Samberg is still very funny and, like, marketable. But I just never see him in anything anymore. Maybe he's just tired of it. I guess the Lonely Island's not really, like... you know, you can only do that for so long till you start to feel, like, boomer-esque, you know? Seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Oh, yeah, I actually have seen that. I guess I haven't seen enough of it, but it was really funny from the shit that I saw. Got Terry Crews. Peter Hargraves says, someone used Chat GPT to animate American Psycho. Does Chat GPT have an animation thing? Or do you mean just like they used AI or whatever? Single night at Joel's Lounge. There you go. Strangers with Candy. Strangers with Candy was one of those shows as a kid that, like, would come on, and I didn't particularly like it because I didn't understand any of the jokes as a kid. But for some reason I couldn't not stare at it. And I never liked the main character, like the girl in it, the Candy woman. But I feel like if I was older I would have enjoyed it, because I'm sure she said some very crude things. When I yawn, you yawn. That's good. That's power. That's the power I want to have over other people, is the magical ability to make them sweepy. I cured your insomnia. Nice, Freedom. 1776. Hell yeah, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Sleep is like... it's a good thing, you know? It cures pretty much everything. Because guess what happens when you're sleeping? You're not eating, right? So your body is not busy digesting nonstop, even though you might have eaten right before bed, which kind of interferes with your sleep quality. And, you're able to repair everything. It's freaking sweet. If you could have a superpower, what would it be? I guess basically the superpower to just stare into locker rooms, but not like x-ray vision, but the ability to create locker room keys that I could then go to their locker room, get the key to unlock it, and then sneak around inside. I'm just kidding. That's not what I would do. What would be a sick? I'd say flying, but I could imagine if I did flight, I would get really cold, and I really don't like being cold. Did you ever on like a motorcycle or some shit, or just a normal bike, and then you fucking get chilly, and I don't want to be a superhero, and I'm like, I can't, it's chilly out. It gets a bit brisk. Did I finish Attack on Titan? No, I did not. I kind of know about it because I think I've seen a lot of like just people like cover the story and stuff. You want mind control? Oh, teleportation would be actually, that would be amazing. Teleportation would be cool as shit, but I also be afraid that it would end up being like The Fly, and then you go to teleport and I'm like, my DNA got mixed with Pradeep and I'm just like some cat beast. You want the power to heal? Heal yourself or heal others? You'd want the power to say something right before someone else says it, especially jokes. You just steal their punchlines every time. Jerry Seinfeld's up on stage and you're just like saying all of this shit, his entire fucking shtick right before he can get it out. Being impervious to cold would be kind of sick, actually. Just to be able to actually go anywhere and like enjoy winter and it not be wildly uncomfortable. Would you rather never be able to lie or believe everything people tell you? Oh shit. Well, if I believed everything everybody would tell me, then I feel like that also sort of implies that you wouldn't be able to lie either, you know what I mean? Unless you yourself just like thought you were really sneaky, but then also believed everything everybody said. Hey, Water and Fire Tarot, what's going on? Water and Fire Tarot, has any of your cards shown any crazy shit happening next year? Manifest anything you want? That would be sick too. Just think of Halo 16 and now you get to play it from the future. And when one of them told me that the bleeding wasn't that bad, but that I definitely need surgery, I actually started to feel just a little less panicked. I knew whatever came next would suck harder than anything had sucked before, but I wasn't going to die, and I think I could write all day and still not sum up the feelings of pure relief that I felt. Maybe the EMTs gave me an injection of something to calm me down, or maybe it was the oxygen mask working its magic, but either way, I remember sinking into the bed that they put me on and thinking to myself, thank God. And when I arrived at the hospital, they prepped me for surgery, and after making me breathe through a mask, someone started counting backwards from then with me. I remember getting to about 6, 5, 4 part, and then that's when my memory just goes blank. When I woke up, I had a tube coming out of my stomach, and I've been told that they fitted me with a stoma, And for those that don't know, it's like a large section of your bowel. And for those of you that don't know, if a large section of your bowel isn't functioning correct... God damn it, man. I just want to get through this shit. You'd poop a katana, that's your special ability, shitting out a Japanese sword. You'd have to feel it the whole time. And for those that don't know, if a large section of your bowel isn't functioning correctly, you're sometimes fitted with a stoma and an accompanying colostomy bag. If you don't know what a colostomy bag is, go look it up. I'm not Google, but I was fitted with one, and it sucked beyond belief. The pain management was definitely the worst thing. Smelling like pee most days was one thing, but the pain literally made me just want to pass out and not wake up until it was gone. It wouldn't smell like pee, would it smell like shit? Maybe they mix those up. Smelling like poop. Yeah, what the fuck are they talking about? Poop. Smelling like poop most days was one thing, but the pain literally made me want to just pass out and not wake up until it was gone. Laughing hurt, coughing hurt, moving hurt, everything frickin' hurt, and it just sucked the joy out of meal times. About 2 months later, I had to have a second surgery to get the stoma reversed, which thankfully was a complete success and put me firmly on the road to recovery. Now I'm doing much better these days. Me and Natalie actually ended up dating for a while, but the relationship just naturally ran its course. She's the only girl I've ever dated who I've actually stayed friends with, and I know what we share was forged that night as I tried to keep my own guts in while lying on the cold concrete. I know what happened to me was just sort of a case of bad... poop chucks. You could shit out nunchucks and make nunchucks out of poop. I guess you could put the poop in like balloons and put it in the fridge.
Smelling like poop in Gilbert Godfrey. Now I know what happened to me was just a case of very bad fortune. But in some ways, I don't feel that's the case. Yes, I'm paying off the remainder of my medical bills even after getting financial aid. But money is nothing compared to life, love, and liberty. And when I think of it like that, I consider myself a very lucky man.
Alright, that's going to be the ending of the story, but... I know what happened to me was just a case of very bad fortune. But in some ways, I don't feel that's the case. Yes, I'm still paying off the remainder of my medical bills, even after getting financial aid, but money is nothing compared to life, love, and liberty. And when I think of it like that, I consider myself a very lucky man. Skidmark Steve, welcome back for 7 months. I just found out that one of the newer ladies I work with also listens to Let's Read. Dude, that's awesome, actually. That's amazing. That's like such a cool coincidence, honestly. I'm like curious. But I guess it makes sense, you know, watching the show and whatnot, but like... Cool. How did they... Yeah, ask them how they... Huh. Well, you have to invite them to a live stream sometime and everybody gets to hang out. Hey, what's up, Tiffany Wick? Daughter of John Wick. I'm doing good. We just made it through 2 stories. We got 3 more. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I can do math. I'm a math whiz. A whiz kid. A whiz shid. I fell asleep to Let's Read last night and I woke up to pee, and there was the scariest story going on. Some chick getting her toenails ripped out. Interesting. I wonder which one that was. I don't remember that. It might have been a hallucination. An angry guinea pig yelling at you. It's kind of bust down that door. I've been on dating apps, and every time a dude asks me what horror story podcast do you listen to, I bully them into listening. I appreciate that. I assume you have that listed as your like interests and stuff. I'm sorry, but all the people who write to you are incredibly annoying because they never say if they're male or female or how old they... Whoops. I'm sorry, but all the people who write to you are annoying as heck because they never say if they're male or female or how old they are at the start of the story. Well, not always. Sometimes I don't know if the person getting creeped on by the pervy old dude on the bus is a teenage girl or just another old dude, and it does actually get very confusing. So, for context, I'm 21, I'm a girl, and I'm fun-sized, meaning I'm terrified of any man over 5'5". Also, this happened last... What is he talking about? I'm fairly certain every fucking person who sends a story and always fucking, like, overly talks about how they're 21F, female... It's Tsubasa with a 2. Okay, OP, tell us how you really feel. I know. I don't even know. Joel didn't respond to my Christmas wish. What's your Christmas wish? What if I celebrated Kwanzaa? I wouldn't be able to grant you your wish. Also, this happened late last year. Do I like spicy food? Oh yeah, baby. Make it extra spoocy. Also, this happened late last year when I was 20, so there, context. What are they talking about? They're like being patronizing towards the fact that I'm just gonna fucking start this over without the bullshit. So, for context, I'm 21, I'm a girl, and I'm fun-sized, meaning I'm terrified of any man over 5'5". Also, this happened... Why do I keep saying happened? I'm talking like I'm from Sweden. Also, this happened late last year when I was 20. Anyways, last year all I wanted for Christmas was a boyfriend, so I downloaded all the apps, uploaded some decent photos of myself, then got some matches. I found this guy called Aaron, who had the whole gym bro thing going on for him, but also wasn't just some total bum who made no money. He had game too, I'll give it to him. So we arranged to go out one time for a few drinks to see where things went. I show up to our little date looking pretty good, and he's looking really handsome too, with this big expensive looking watch on his wrist that I notice. We get some drinks, we're vibing, and then we start talking about work and stuff, and how I wanted to get into being an influencer, maybe like a foodie on TikTok or something. But then I'm talking, and he's looking at me because where the hell else is he gonna look? But then he suddenly stops looking at me, looks a little over my shoulder, and then his face changes completely. 1 second, he's looking suave and sexy, and the next second, he looked like he was about to puke. I didn't even have time to turn around to see what he was looking at when I feel these hands in my hair. Then the next second, they were pulling me back off of my chair, or no, it must have been a stool from how I fell right back, and then bam, my head hit the floor, and it winded me pretty bad. The next thing I remember was something like smashing down into my face. Jesus Christ. Adri with the 2 says, bro, your stories are like my melatonin for real, for real. Thank you, Adri. Hope I'm saying that right. Adri. Adria. Oh yeah, I watched that Pete Davidson thing. Like the I Am Pete Davidson, mixed with the Barbie crossover. And it was good, it was funny. But it was like a little bit too late, Like the meme of Pete Davidson to me and all the things that like he suddenly became self-aware of and made fun of in that little SNL skit, in my mind, was a little too late, It's like, it's shit like that I feel like SNL should have been making fun of for like 3 or 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Sorry, I keep saying you know what I mean, but whatever the fuck. It's just like when they don't do any funny jokes for years and years, and then finally do one that's like on the nose, but it's like everybody already knows it forever, and everybody's already done like skits and memes and all sorts of shit. It just doesn't like really. It doesn't hit the same anymore, even though it is it would have been a very good skit back in like 2019 or some shit, whatever, fuck that guy. I don't give a shit about fucking stupid Pete Davidson. He's such a dumbass. He's fucking ugly, and he's not like, he's just, it's like, I'm not even trying to be mean. It's just that whatever he is, whatever he set out to accomplish, he did the opposite for success, and I'm not here for it. I'm not interested in it, and I'm not impressed. And should I be impressed? Am I his target demographic? Maybe for his like comedy. Whatever. Anyways, Shanus, thank you for the 5 gifters to Aaron Wilson, Byron, Alfaro, Andrew McKenna, Ad D, Eli. Thank you, and everybody, welcome to the Buttersock cult. You love him. I love Pete. Me and him are dating and we're kissing. Now, granted, if we met in real life, I would be very nice to Pete, I feel like I'm talking a lot of shit right here, but if we met in real life in a normal, typical context, be like, oh, that's Pete, like, we have a laugh and shit like that. But everything he represents to me is just like, there's so much shit, where it's like the guy that just doesn't try at all, but I don't even feel like describing him. You know who he is. It's like Hollywood personified, but in a way that's just bastardized to me, and it's ugly and yucky, and I just can't. It's ugh. The next thing I remember was something smashing down into my face again and again, and how one of his hits landed right on my nose and made it crunch. In my whole life, I'd never felt anything as painful as that. It was like my whole face was on fire, and I tried to just curl up into a ball until whoever it was hitting me stopped doing it. At first, the pain was so bad that I couldn't even open my eyes, and all I could hear was screaming from the people around me. But the loudest screams of all of them were coming from a girl, and from all the wild crap she was yelling, I could tell that it was her that had been the one striking me. I only got one good look at her before the guy I'd been on a date with dragged her out of the place, and then I was mobbed by people trying to give me first aid and stuff like that while someone else was screaming to call 911. The guy I'd been on a date with didn't come back, and when the ambulance finally showed up, they took me to the emergency room. I remember being so upset that the guy just disappeared, but that was my first clue as to what I was. How I do that so good? What, turn my voice into spooky? You should do a story in the Gilbert Gottfried impression, or someone, please. It would be fun. I love Gilbert. I hope he's doing alright wherever he is.
In hell. He's in hell. You know he's in hell. Don't even kid yourself. You know where he's at.
No, I'm just kidding. He's fine. But I don't know. It sucks that people have to die, you know? Even if, even though I say mean stuff, it's not that I want anything bad for Pete. I don't want bad things upon Pete Davidson at all, honestly. I want him to live a happy, normal, go-lucky life. It's just he's the type of star that frustrates me, where it's like you got all this shit to be like thankful for, all this really like unnecessary success that's come his way, yet he's still going to just like exist in like a ongoing space of just like dissatisfaction while still not really providing all that much. And it's just like, fuck off, you fucking dingus. No one gives a shit. Grow up. Yeah, we'll do a poll. We'll do a Pete poll. A Peter poll. Pete Davidson question mark. Yes. No. Poll has been polarized. To Pete or not to Pete? The Pete and Pete. He should have starred in the show Pete and Pete. Yeah, Gilbert Godfrey.
I'm a 14-year-old girl. And I noped out of there.
I remember being so upset that the guy just disappeared, but that was my first clue as to what was actually going on. At the hospital, the doctors had to x-ray my nose to see how bad the damage was, but they gave me a whole bunch of pain meds too, so I was just kind of out of it by then. The worst part was when they had to set my nose. It didn't hurt or whatever, but I could feel the broken bones in my nose moving around when they did, and it was legitimately one of the grossest things I'd ever experienced. She then stuffed a bunch of gauze or something into my nostrils, and that was my... She then stuffed a bunch of gauze up my nostrils, and then that was just my life for a few weeks, sounding crazy dumb with a bunch of cotton stuffed up my nose to keep it set. And while it was healing, I had plenty of time to sit around feeling sorry for myself. The guy I'd been on the date with had unmatched me on TINDER, but I did a little stalking, and I was able to find him on Instagram. He'd made it private, but when my friend sent him a random request, he accepted it, and that's how we found out that the girl who attacked me was this guy's girlfriend. It looked like she untagged herself from a bunch of his posts, but not all of them. And there she was in maybe 5 or 6 of them, posing with the guy in a way that made it obvious that they were a couple. Long story short, I ended up pressing charges, and she went into... fuck. Hey Gabby, what's going on? You're only 1.5 hours late. I don't know. I guess long story short, maybe it's when I look deep in myself and I see comedians, I just don't think comedians can, in the modern sense, should have that much, like, I don't think they should have any sex appeal to them. You know, you don't necessarily have to be some like clown or a jester or anything like that, but I just don't think that they should be by any means even considered attractive, because at that point you kind of just like set yourself up for failure in the realm of the joke world. You can be attractive, but you better be fucking funny, and he is not fucking funny. Did you ever get into a fist fight? Yeah, when I was younger. It's stupid, man. It feels weird. You never like happy at the end, you're just angry. It doesn't feel good to hurt people, you know? you feel bad for them. Andrew Batts with the 10 says, I'm at day 9 in the ICU. I've been eating and peeing through tubes and it is getting old. I have a nasogastric tube and bladder catheter. Your content is keeping me sane. Interesting. So you have an NG tube and a bladder catheter. Well, I guess I don't want to dig into your personal stuff, but I'm just, yeah, dang, I'm sorry about that, Andrew. Well, I hope you're doing okay. And yeah, I hope you're staying sane. Shit. But thank you for the 10, my friend. And yeah, I do hope you get better. And so sorry about whatever you're going through there. That sucks. But you will get through it. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Long story short, I ended up pressing charges, and she ended up going to jail. I understand that she was also kind of a victim in that situation, but I also lost my ability to feel sorry for her the moment she decided to drag me off that bar stool and break my nose. The guy is trash too, and I know he'll get his karma someday, but it should have been him that the girl beat up. Fuck. The guy is trash too, and I know he'll get his karma someday, but it should have been him that the girl beat the crap out of, not me. I had no idea that he wasn't single, and if that had been me walking in on my boyfriend on a dare with another girl, I'd like to think that I'd show a little sisterly solidarity and punch him in the face, not her. Okay. It is interesting, though, whenever you guys say that, I don't know, my channel helps you do things or heal things, and I wonder why that is. I wonder what it is that it does. Who watches baddies? What is baddies? Started listening to Let's Read in 2016. That was a good era. I'm not used to eating so much, especially later at night. Not very comfy. Are you eating to like gain weight or something? Like to exercise?
Mischievous dog.
Did you say dare? Did I? Something like that was like the phraseology at the end or something? I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know what the context of the writer was trying to say there. Did I say something? Did it sound weird? Just got over a breakup in this. Oh, okay. I thought the phraseology was, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what's going through people's writing, so like I think they accidentally spelled dare instead of date. And I thought like on a dare was like some sort of phrase, like if I had to do this on a dare, you know what I mean? All right, well now I'm gonna throw myself off a cliff, so I'll be right back. Just kidding, we'll find it. Where the hell even was I? Okay. I've been walking in on my boy. Oh, I see. I had no idea he wasn't single. And if that had been me walking in on my boyfriend on a date with another girl, I'd like to think that I'd show a little sisterly solidarity and punch him in the face and not her. Yeah, my bad. There we go. Thank you for letting me know, though. That does help when you guys give me the heads up. Dude, it's kind of insane. Like, if you do calorie restriction, it's just like so fucking easy to like fill up your calories for the day. It's not fair. It tain't fair, man. It tain't fair. Like, as soon as I eat my breakfast before the gym, it's because that's pretty much the only way that it can do it, for the most part, is breakfast before the gym and then the dinner later on after. And I'm already at, like, because I'm fairly certain to, like, lose the amount, to get to the weight goal that I want to get to, I have to do like 2,300 calories a day. But just like to eat comfortably at the amount that I want is like 3,000, and it's really fucking annoying. Like the food that I like just would casually eat without, you know, out of like habit. I'm at a decent weight, but I'd still prefer losing more weight and tone up way more. Oh, okay. But you're eating in the evening, though? Or you're avoiding eating in the evening? I forget. Faceless with the tenses. Pet has borderline personality disorder, which makes people with this disorder feel abandonment issues. People with this tend to do everything to make people love them, doing almost everything. Oh, Pete has personality disorder, makes people with this disorder feel abandonment issues. People with this tend to do everything to make people love them, doing almost everything. Yeah, I guess that would... Yeah. Alright, yeah, I'll stop talking about the guy. Sorry, Peter. We love you, Pete. We love you, dude. You're so good, man. It's no worries, man. Say whatever jokes you want, man. They're always funny. They always slap. I'm gonna bring him on the stream. Have you always been working out like this, Joel? You know, I've been working out pretty consistently since I was like in 8th grade. And I guess like playing sports in the beginning of middle school. But I think in college, I sort of stepped away from lifting and just only did running. And I lost a lot of weight while I was running, but then once I got back into lifting, I jumped up again. Hypermetabolism. Yeah, I guess the best way is like, how do you... I guess the only way to amplify your metabolism is just to like turn up the heat. What do they call that? The law of thermodynamics, where it's just how much you burn in and out kind of thing. And so obviously to increase your metabolism, you just got to turn up the heat in your body, which usually involves exercise. I guess you could do a sauna, right? You could jump in the sauna for a while to simulate exercise and turn up the heat in your body. But how many stories now? We got 5. We got 2 more to go here. Pradeep is here also, making his rounds through my legs right now. It's been a while since you've done Tinder stories or dating stories in general, so if you plan on making a video like that anytime soon, you could include this story of mine, or why I'm now very careful how and when I use apps like that. I used to swipe on Twinder. I used to swipe on Tinder a whole lot during 2018 and 2019. At first it was soul-destroying, but then I learned to kind of roll with the punches, and I started to get some pretty good matches. I matched with this one girl who I'll call Sarah, and after we hit it off, we arranged to go out for coffee. Coffee led to cocktails, and cocktails led to dancing. Then one thing led to another, and I ended up back at her place. We spent the night together, fell asleep in each other's arms, then planned to get some breakfast together the next morning. The next morning, I woke up and then rolled out of bed to go use the bathroom. But then, literally, as I'm peeing, I hear a key sliding into the front door of Sarah's apartment. My first thought was, oh, maybe she's got a roommate. but it wouldn't be the first time that I've had an awkward encounter in my underwear with a girl's roommate or a friend. So I just got ready to be like, hey, I'm Sarah's friend, sorry to make this our first time meeting, etc., etc. I finish peeing, start washing my hands, and that's when I hear a man's voice coming from down the hallway. I couldn't make out exactly what they were saying, but it kind of sounded like a question, and I'm still very much in this is Sarah's roommate state of mind. But then, when the question got louder and angrier, and I heard the distinct, who in the F is in bathroom? Oh. Who does Pradeep look like? He looks just like really, really hot and really cool and just like ripped and just like badass and just freaking like, you know, Argus Daenerys from Game of Thrones, and just freaking like claws that'll just like cut you open and eat you. I got banned on Tinder, been banned for 3 years, all because I used a VPN in the background, and of course it's a paid feature to change location on Tinder. Yeah, Tinder's fucking stupid, dude. It's just like, they do not give a shit if you ever like match with anybody. They just want to make money off of people. It's silly. But then, when the question got louder and angrier, and I heard the distinct, who's in the effing bathroom, Sarah? I knew this wasn't her roommate. I hear heavy footsteps coming up the hallway, then a fist or foot smashes into the bathroom door. I'd had the good sense to lock it, so there was no way this dude was getting inside without some serious force. But then I figured that he kinda knew that too, because I soon heard him walking up the stairs to where I'm pretty sure the kitchen was located in this girl's apartment. All I was thinking was, this is my moment to get out of here. I was prepared to run out of there in nothing but my underwear, no phone or wallet or keys, nothing, because going into the bedroom to get them would trap me in the apartment. Yeah, Pradeep hits the gym. I actually have like an old picture from him from like not even that long ago, and somehow he like gained weight, and I feel like I've fed him this in the same sort of pattern for a while, and now he's just a thick boy. You never used Tinder? Gross. Well, I mean, Tinder nowadays, like, people don't even really use it for hookups. I mean, I think that's still there, but it's probably one of the most efficient, like, dating apps you could use, because it's just like, this is what you look like, this is what you're into, do you like the person, do you not, swipe left, swipe right, it's, like, pretty straightforward. Whereas I feel like some dating apps make you go through a whole fucking psychology regimen questionnaire. It's just all silliness, really. A rotund void, yeah, pretty much. Because going into the bedroom to get them would trap me in the apartment and mean that I was most certainly being in because going into the bedroom to get them would trap me in the apartment, and I mean, that would most certainly leave me for a whoopin'. Wait, what? Because going into the bedroom to get them would trap me in the apartment, and mean that I was most certainly in for a whooping. But then, if this guy was Sarah's boyfriend, or God forbid, her husband or something, then there was a chance that he wouldn't just beat me up, there was a chance that he would quite literally murder me. So, like I was saying, I hear the guy walk off down the hall, so I unlock the bathroom door, then rush out into the hallway, but I'm just not fast enough. I see the guy coming down the hallway at me just as I'm trying to unlock the door to the apartment, and the dude has this big shiny kitchen knife in his hand. I think that was probably the scariest moment of my life. Like, I really did think that I was about to get stabbed to death right there in the hallway wearing nothing but my freaking underwear. I begged this dude for my life, and I'm not even ashamed to say it. All I wanted in the world was to get out of there and pretend the whole thing never happened. I pleaded with the guy not to stab me, and he didn't. Instead, he looked me dead in the eyes and says, "Get out of my way." The craziest thing about this whole story to me personally is how I felt this sudden switch happen in my head. As I said before, all I wanted to do was get out of there, but then when I realized what the dude was actually about to do, it's like I physically couldn't let that happen. I can barely even explain it, even in hindsight, but I guess subconsciously I felt like if I just ran out of the apartment, if I did get out of the way, it'd have Sarah's blood on my hands. I also think that I just couldn't let the dude throw his whole life away like that over one incident of cheating, and that's definitely the angle that I took at that time, because I remember just saying to this guy over and over, "Don't do it, man. It's not worth it. She's not worth it." He actually tried to barge past me at one point, and I wouldn't move, which seems absolutely insane looking back on it, because he could have just easily plunged that knife into my chest right there and then. But by some miracle, he didn't. He stopped trying to get past me and asked me in this shaky voice, Did you know?" And when I shook my head, he stormed out of the apartment. Sarah just sat on the bed crying while I gathered up my stuff, and all I said to her was, "You should get out of here." And you can bet that I wanted to say a lot more than that, but the whole of my soul was just screaming to just get out of there, so I grabbed my stuff, got dressed, left her crying on the bed. My heart was still pounding when I arrived at the nearest subway station, and it was only once I was on the train that I realized how bad I smelled. Obviously, I hadn't had time to shower and put on any body spray, but I don't know how the hell this works scientifically, but being so scared had this weirdly metallic funk rising from my armpits. I think that's what people mean when they say that animals can smell fear, or how fear has a certain sting to it. Either way, I felt like human garbage, like actual human garbage, but still feeling weirdly grateful that I even walked out of that apartment to begin with. Haters with a 2 says, "Any reason why people do hookups? Never understood it." Yeah, I mean, I guess just people want to have sex, you know? Like, they're horny and shit. And I think a lot of people use it as a way to fill a void in their life, sometimes as hoping that it's some sort of catalyst that might start a, as they say, a situationship, you know, or something that just like makes them feel validated through, someone found me attractive and I had sex with them. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of those individuals that sort of chase after sex all the time probably will never ever feel as satisfied as they would in like a loving, caring relationship. You know what I mean? Like one that actually has time and emotion and energy put into it. It's just a biological urge that some people need to fill, and they don't technically need to fill that per se, but you know, what can you say? I mean, it's people's choices. But yeah, people crave connection, and sometimes the hookups might lead to something greater, but most of the time I think because people have kind of given up their sexual side right out the gate, one person in that situation is like not going to feel any sort of connection with that person anymore, or desire to continue it because like the goal has been met or whatever, you know, the biological urge has been completed, so there's like sort of no further desire to continue what's going on there. But yeah, that's why I kind of think people should, for their own heart, for their own like personal mental health, should avoid hookup culture, because it just leaves you empty inside and, you know, connected to somebody else's existence or soul or whatever it is. Like, when you have sex with someone, you do really create like some sort of bind with them that really never goes away. It's an Olympic sport, yeah. Am I really dating Pete Davidson? Yeah, that's why I'm so mean to him right now, because he broke my heart. He went and dated Jenna Ortega or somebody. I don't fucking know. He's probably dating Johnny Depp now, just for the clout. Nobody wants to be monogamous anymore, so it's really hard to find a solid relationship. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the fact that it's even like socially kind of permitted, I feel like in some odd way is almost like a detriment to people, because obviously we as monkeys are not, we as monkeys are going to want to spread our bodies out as far as possible and make many mates or whatever. Make many mate. I make many mate. But I think, at the end of the day, some of the things that are held the highest in our culture is just like two individuals who are coupled together and happy and stable for children. And you know what I mean? Like, that is clearly the ideal, is to have a strong, stable relationship with another person and raise kids with them. It's been the tried and true for I don't know how fucking long, and in like every culture since the dawn of time. And hopefully each individual is like actively pursuing the ability to continue to better their relationship, but also better themselves and better their family, blah blah blah. Get pretty even nice scratch for you. Okay, I'll do it right now. He lifted his butt up. I think he wants to fart. Every time you scratch a cat in his butt, it lifts its butt up. It probably means it's about to like shoot a big stinky one at you. Guys need resources. Yeah, I don't know. That whole like alpha male thing bullshit where it's like acquire a ton of resources and get ripped and get rich and flaunt and I don't know. You know what I mean? Like start your, it's like I get it. Like those are things, but all those individuals, those like sort of people that always talk about getting lots and lots of women, like there might be a sort of ability on a man's part to like disassociate with how many partners they have to a degree. Maybe it's a little bit more biologically built into them to be able to like disconnect from each partner. But I know for a fact any guy you ever come across, if you really ask them what they truly desire deep down, they want a nice, they want a nice like wife, they want a nice partner, they want a nice family, they want stability in their life, This sort of like getting as much poontang as possible, whatever the fuck. It, you only need to like have one night stand to realize that like, this is not what they made it out to be. Yeah, the phrase body count, it's weird. Yeah, whenever like my one friend, he was like a male model, and he told me that he had sex with like over 200 people, and that was years ago. Who knows what it's at now? I'm like, how are you even a fucking human, bro? Like, I mean, it's like, whatever, you know, but like, and he really does have like people just like throw themselves at him, based on how he looks and sort of presents himself and whatnot. Because he's very like very tall, you know, looks like a model, has the fashion to match it, and all that kind of stuff, you know, all the typical stuff. And like his personality is like one that's sort of like comedic, but also like sort of aloof, you know, like doesn't really give another person's like feelings that much credence, if that makes sense. Like if someone brings like chaotic energy to him, he's just kind of like, whatever, that's just how it goes, I guess. And like, but at the same time, like, I sometimes wonder if there's just something like abstract about somebody's brain to be able to like have sex with that many people. And I almost feel like you kind of have to like not look at them as like human beings, you know? Yeah, I know. It might not be human. I don't know. Like, it just seems like borderline sociopathic to like do that with that many people. I don't know. Like, was not like, that's a lot statistically. Wasn't there like one that was like nice? That's funny. He's not even partner worthy at this point. The funny thing is, he has a girlfriend now. I remember, well, I won't say his name obviously, but like, then I come to find out, because the first time I hadn't interacted with him forever, and then like I like met his girlfriend, and then she, the one time, I don't even know what the fuck it was, but she ended up like calling me on Facebook a few days after and talking to me, like just talking to me for like till 5 a.m. because she didn't know where he was or whatever, and I didn't know where he was because we weren't hanging out that weekend or whatever. And then she told me that like he cheated on her at some point, like guaranteed, and then there may have been a second time. And I just found that so interesting, that like even though he had like cheated on her, there was still like a part like within her, and also taking into account like how many the body count was, that like she still found him like valuable, you know, like she still desired to be with him, which it was a weird thing for me to think, because he was like, you know, one of my best friends, and I would never want bad for him. But then like kind of hearing those sort of like statistics add up, and I'm like, I don't think he's being he's definitely not getting any gifts from Santa. It's, that's not good behavior. He's lucky he didn't have any tattoos, or oh man, he'd be getting coal for sure. He was at church. He's banging every girl at church. No, he'd never been that way. And even though I'm not really in church stuff anymore, I guess I am thankful sometimes, like, to have been in it to sort of keep me at bay during those like times of my life where I probably could have been a little quasi. Anyways, this one's a true crime actually related to Tinder, so that's exciting. We all got that one friend. It's a lot of people to connect with, and maybe I just don't even know, like, what at that point, after like banging that many people, how do you even like look at people the same, knowing that like so many of them in the human population are just gonna look at you and be like, I'm gonna fuck you, and I'm gonna give it up too. I'm gonna share my most personal aspect of myself with you incredibly freely. I sure hope you like me afterwards. What religion was I a part of? I just, was like a non-denominational Christian situation. Of course, I like growing up, I went to like a Methodist church and then like a Baptist church and stuff, but I wouldn't say any of them like, you know, I know some people get really, really harped on like little details and all that kind of stuff, but I never really cared about any of that. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, the one thing that I've come to find that is like the most satisfying in life, even though I think, you know, you ever see like Robert California from like The Office when he's like, everything in life is sex. It's all sexual energy being transferred back and forth. And I always thought that was kind of funny because I'm like, maybe there's some truth to that. But at the same time, I feel like deep down a person finds their deepest satisfaction in life when they're like creating things, you know, creating art, creating stuff that helps people, creating foundations for their family and that kind of thing. Just like the more, you know, all the shit that like the old philosophers had talked about, those kinds of things. I feel like, you know, they are ancient wisdoms for a reason. Do I believe in God? Yeah, I do. I definitely do. It's confusing, you know, because like I kind of waver back and forth a lot with what I'm thinking, because sometimes I'll use like, you know, we are just monkeys and evolutionary biology and blue, you know, I kind of like boil everybody down to just like being a big pile of electric meat. But at the same time, there's a part of me that's like, I feel like humanity has got to be somewhere in between. You know, we are monkeys, but we are like some type of like elevated monkey in a weird way. Like something external from ourselves has touched us in a way that's made us more than just biology. Like there's something clearly spiritual about the human experience that is just so poetically apparent deep within our soul. But I don't know, I can't grasp it, I suppose. And maybe we're not supposed to grasp it completely until later, but it's just hard to say. Once you hit 200, you get a new headboard. Yes, sure. He's earned a gold condom. He gets to use one condom now, if he used one at all. We're a hybrid species. Maybe we are. I don't know, dude. During the summer of 2016, 23-year-old university student Molly McLaren decided to try her hand at the popular cell phone-based dating app, TINDER. Molly was a second-year university student who was passionately pursuing a degree in health and fitness. Friends described her as an exercise fanatic, but added that her other great passion was people. Molly quite frequently professed a desire to pursue a career in personal training, not just to help people look better, but to help them feel better too. She just had that effect on people, a close friend later said. She liked making people happy, so everyone gravitated towards her. That's why she had so many friends. Like many young women her age, Molly had no trouble attracting the attention of the opposite sex, and that was especially so online. The only problem was finding a man that she felt equally attracted to, and in 25-year-old Joshua Stimson, Molly quite literally met her match. Joshua had spent his formative years in Stoke-on-Trent. What is that? Stoke-on-Trent? Is his name Chad? No, but it's funny. He has like a name that's like, you know, you hear it and you're just like, oh, that's a name that somebody who has sex has. OG Mudbone is his name. Joshua has spent his formative years in Stoke-on-Trent. What the fuck is that? But had moved southeast to Medway in Kent. Stoke-on-Trent? Is it Stoke-on-Trent or Stoke-on-Trent? It's a town in England. Oh, okay, interesting. Britain. Great Britain, more specifically. Oh yeah, this is the last one we gotta do the poop screen. Good point. Alright, I'll be right back. Golly gee, Batman. What the fuck? I was looking at memes on my phone. Your chat's glitching. Oh, why would that be? Also, I recently, the past couple days, I don't know if it's activated yet, but I updated the speed of my internet, so maybe next week I'll try to do the chat in like more real time, see if it works, or see if it still gives people some guff. How am I doing? I'm doing good. Cannot complain. I don't know. I just like to binge eat, you know? Do you guys like to just eat so much you're binging without the purge? That's me. Just keep eating. I love eating, dude. I love shoveling shit into my mouth. Like Goku with his what do they call them? Fork sticks. Nunchucks. What do they use to eat? Twigs. Dude, anybody with like discipline for food, God bless you, man. I'll have it one time. I'll have it here and there, but it's tough doing it long term. Chopsticks, that's it. Thank you. Love eating but struggle with my weight. Yeah, you know, I don't know. To me, I'm just like, just another reason to go lift weights. But I know that bad diet doesn't, or bad lifting weights doesn't counter a bad diet. Isn't it bullshit? It takes like an hour of biking to burn like 400 fucking calories. But then you eat one fucking Krispy Kreme in the span of like 3 seconds and you gain it all back. You struggle to gain muscle. Yeah, you just gotta stimulate the muscles and get enough food and protein, you'll be good. You just gotta get on the right track, you know? Meanwhile, you regularly go days without eating a proper meal. A happy meal, some would say. Do you drink a gallon of chalky milky? I do, mixed with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yeah, man. I really do wish that like Sam Sulek would like beef, you know? He doesn't have to. He's just enjoying his life and stuff. But, I mean, think about that. Imagine if Sam Sulek, once again, not to be rude to him, but imagine if he never once took, you know, an entire barrel of testosterone, an entire, you know, vat of Trenbolone, just steroids. Imagine if like so many like influencers never took steroids. Would their channels even have any interest to them? Would anyone even really care? Because the presumption is that like people follow them because obviously it's like kind of a freak show sometimes what they're doing. It's fascinating to see people with striations in their butthole, you know. That's an oddity. That's a circus act. And we enjoy that from time to time, and he's a nice boy. But, like, to accomplish that, I just kind of wish that if there are people, especially younger people, maybe more impressionable people, maybe these people don't even exist. Maybe kids are way smarter than we give them credit for. But they see these influencers that are just jacked as fuck, and that's completely unobtainable without like exogenous hormones and supplement, shit that you inject into your body. Obviously, if you were following the 9 tenets of, the Liver King's soaking, sun soaking his asshole out in the Serengeti, that's probably the solution. But no, Sam is a funny guy. He says some pretty, I think it's kind of like him being a jacked individual and then him saying some sort of like dry humor stuff. The dry humor mixed with being a big muscular man, it's an interesting dichotomy there. Joel, we follow you and have no clue if you're human. I guess that's true. I could just be AI, a very advanced AI. The Liver King probably smells weird. Garen fucking Teed, he probably stinks. Just radiating some sort of juices. Oh, he's a weeb. That's cool. Relatable weeb with striations in the forehead. Joshua had spent his formative years in Stoke-on-Trent, but had moved southeast to Medway in Kent following his graduation from secondary school. He then held down a series of low-paying jobs in warehouses and call centers, yet his coworkers seemed to have vastly different memories of him. Some described a charming, charismatic young man who excelled at whatever task he was presented with, but others recalled a distinctly darker, broodier side to Joshua, one that deeply unnerved them whenever it arose. According to friends, Molly and Josh chatted online for the better part of 3 months before meeting in person, but by that period, she was smitten. It was her first proper boyfriend, another close friend explained, so she was head over heels for him. Everything about him made her smile. But Molly wasn't just attracted to Joshua's charm or his good looks. She was attracted to his flaws, too. Having grown up battling anxiety and eating disorders, Molly was terrified that potential partners would view the conditions as so-called red flags. So when Joshua confessed to having been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, Molly believed that she'd found a kindred spirit. She asked me not to judge Josh by his mental health conditions, and I didn't, her mother later said. But I wondered if Molly was able to take on other people's issues on top of dealing with her own. After voicing her concerns, Molly told her mother that she understood her reticence, but given she and Josh had undergone similar troubles in their lives, she claimed that she and Josh could help each other out. Molly's attitude towards Joshua's mental health issues is certainly admirable, but there was just one problem. He was lying. Josh didn't have bipolar disorder. In fact, he hadn't received any formal diagnosis whatsoever. His claim of being a bipolar sufferer was nothing but a sordid attempt to manipulate young Molly, and it worked. Over the course of the spring of 2017, Josh and Molly began seeing each other regularly, and at first, they seemed perfectly content. Molly even brought Josh home to meet her parents, Joanne and Doug, who later described him as seemingly perfectly normal. But as the months went on, the relationship gained their solid seal of approval. In April of 2017, Joshua took part in the London Marathon and raised hundreds of pounds for British bipolar charity. H3 said they're convinced Liver King sprayed something foul on himself before he came into their studio to play up his persona. Maybe he was rolling around in zebra shit or something, who knows. Elk dung. I mean, who knows, maybe part of his whole, like, wildlife shtick is that he just doesn't fucking shower. or like marinates himself in some sort of like deer piss / blood concoction. White Rabbit, you were gifted a membership. Nice. Yeah, I'm not sure who it would be from, but good to see you. And make sure, yeah, you grab into that bonus content there. Giraffe jizz beard gel. Yeah. Yeah, bursitis and sciatica, so I'm pretty much always in pain. Shit, I'm sorry about that. Well, if I ever find a clinic that does the peptides, I might try them. And then if I have success with them with my currently ongoing shoulder injury, I will report back to you and tell you if maybe they're worth looking into. In April of 2017, Joshua took part in the London Marathon and raised hundreds of pounds for a British bipolar charity in the process. That sounded weird. In April of 2017, Joshua took part in the London Marathon and raised hundreds of pounds for a British bipolar charity in the process. Molly and her parents drove him into London, then waited along the route to cheer him along. It was every bit the blossoming romance, but it soon began to wither. One day, in early May of 2017, Molly approached her mother seeking advice. She claimed that since the trip into London for Josh's marathon, his demands for attention had been ever increasing, and in her words, she felt smothered. It seemed as though he didn't have any friends and was a bit of a loner, Joanne McLaren later said. He wanted Molly to himself, wasn't interested in making any friends of his own, and got jealous whenever Molly spent time with hers. Joanne added that over time, Joshua's behavior became even more concerning. I remember how he'd sometimes just turn up at our house uninvited, and at times when Molly wanted to have some time on her own to study, he would come and lie on her bed so he knew where she was and what she was doing. Neither Molly nor her parents knew it, but Josh had actually reduced the hours on his weekly warehouse contract in order to spend time with the subject of his ever-increasing obsession. And it wasn't long until that obsession became frighteningly unhealthy. Sometime in late May or early June of 2017, Molly invited Joshua to her aunt's 60th birthday party in the neighboring county, not country. Performance-enhancing drugs, gang. Yeah, it's not that I don't want to do any sort of, like I said, exogenous hormones, but like, I've heard good things about peptides and the fact that they activate the signalers in your own body to like create the necessary things for healing. And there's certain ones that for healing that I wanted to use for like my presumably labrum tear on my shoulder. You see that, Charity? Yeah, it's bipolar. It doesn't know what it wants. Is weed performance enhancing? I guess weed could be performance enhancing for like writing stand-up comedy or laughing at Family Guy, or if you needed something that like would make you really good at eating brownies and cookies, weed would be good at that. Peptides is also good for your skin. Shell, do you take performance enhancing drugs? How long y'all been listening to this channel? I've been listening to this channel since it started. Sounds like I'm feeling better. Was I feeling blue before? Not so good. Sometime in late May or early June of 2017, Molly invited Joshua to her aunt's 60th birthday party in the neighboring county of Essex. It was an opportunity for Josh to impress Molly's wider family, but It was one he squandered spectacularly. Molly's mother later said that at one point, her daughter left Josh alone at a table, then went off to talk to some distant cousins. Josh seemed furious. He sat in a seat, seething with jealousy, staring angrily at Molly as she happily chatted with family. Later that evening, the group returned to a nearby hotel with Josh and Molly checking into one room while the latter's parents checked into another. Less than an hour later, Molly's mother received an ominous... You take pea protein? Hell yeah, dude. Are you a vegan? A vegan? A squeegan? Less than an hour later, Molly's mother received an ominous text message from her daughter. "I don't feel safe with him," it read. It's not clear how that evening's incident resolved itself, but according to Molly's mother, the mood in the car during the journey back to Kent was a tense one. It seemed Josh and Molly's honeymoon period was well and truly over, and that the breakdown of their relationship was imminent. But when it came to doing the deed, Molly found that she didn't have the heart. It was typical of Molly, a close friend later said. She was always putting everyone before herself. She didn't know how to break up with Josh without breaking his heart. Even though he'd scared her, she still really cared about him. And so, piss protein. I've been drinking all this, dog piss protein lately. It's so good. You're a squeegan? Why are you a squeegan? Don't you want steak and burgers? Ground up meat. Butchered calf. Meat's back on the menu, boys. Send Joel a butterscotch cake. Oh, that'd be so good. I would love that. Listen to me while driving, for real, for real. You better not be lying to me. If you're not for real, are you even real at all? And so, to facilitate the breakup in a safe a manner as possible, Molly's friend came up with a rather ingenious plan. They'd invite Molly and Josh on a night out, somewhere very public, and preferably somewhere with security staff. Then, after a few shots to steady her nerves and the emotional support of all her close friends, Molly would take Josh's... I was on a roll for a while. Where was I at? They'd invite Molly and Josh on a night out, somewhere very public and preferably somewhere with security staff. Then, after a few shots to steady her nerves and the emotional support of all her close friends, Molly would take Josh aside and tell him it was over. All in all, it was a good, solid strategy, but it was one that relied on Josh fearing public humiliation. The grown-up thing to do would be to take the breakup on the chin, refrain from making a scene, then walk out of the bar with his head held high. But that was not what Josh chose to do. Molly's friends watched as she took her son... Damn, I can't see the words anymore. Hey, Mammy Kitten, welcome back for a month. Says late, but I made it. Hope everyone's doing... How's everyone doing? See, I'm going cross-eyed. What's up, Cold? Hey, from Northern Illinois. Nice. Probably chilly up there, huh? Do I like the Beatles? I like the Beatles. Some songs of the Beatles. Not all the songs. Some of the songs. You know, some of the Beatles songs are kind of like meh, but some of them are pretty okay. Molly's friends watched as she took her soon-to-be ex-boyfriend aside and delivered the bad news. They figured that he'd take it badly, but the reality was nothing less than shocking. Josh began pacing back and forth while screaming, "She's finished with me, she's finished with me," and continued his tirade until the nightclub's door staff was forced to remove him from the premises. Molly was mortified, but her friend's plan worked, and with their emotional support net firmly in place, they were there to catch their old friend's fall. They tried their best to cheer Molly up, and to an extent it worked. But friends recalled that Molly had a melancholy about her that night, almost like she knew what was coming. Over the next few weeks, Joshua waged a campaign of online harassment against his former girlfriend. He bombarded her with text messages from several different sources, then set up a series of social media profiles for use in his campaign. No matter how many accounts Molly blocked, Joshua seemed to remain one step ahead of her, and his methods grew sickeningly creative. At one point, Josh set up an anonymous. There's a part of me that's just like, I know what's coming, that this guy's gonna like kill her or something. And I hope she does. I hope he does not do that. You're Andre 3000's brother? Hell yeah, dude. Did you listen to his new album? Hey, Shanny, no worries. You never know, if you hang out here enough, you might get gifted a membership. You listen from Cardiff. Nice. I missed your super chat, Shanus. How the hell did I do that? Was the gift? I see gifted. Oh, I did. I'm so sorry. That's weird. It pops up. Well, I guess that's weird. Shanus, over an hour ago with the 5, says, best arm exercises to build strength fast. Gotta use a lot of arm strength now for a while until I can put weight on my foot. I guess. Yeah, like everything to like hit. It just depends on what your goal is. If you want to do to build strength fast, I mean, you're gonna want to hit everything in the arm, I suppose. Like pull-ups, maybe pull-ups, dips, bicep curls. You could do stuff with like shrugs. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of have to think of all components of the lift. Build strength fast. Gotta use a lot of arm strength now for a while until I can put weight on my foot. Oh, and I guess if because you have crutches, right? So if it'll be like a crutch. So you're asking, in that situation, like crutches, which I guess just kind of doing that over and over again was something you would get used to. But in that case, if you're trying to like support yourself like that, you definitely want to have strength through your triceps and the extension to like pick yourself up. Yeah, the shake weight. Get 2 shake weights and just run around town. Well, not run around town, but wheel around town. A dose of gamma radiation. Yeah, yeah. Are you okay becoming the next She-Hulk? Lift unopened cans of food. That's true. Milk, jugs. Yeah, I guess it just depends on what your goals are, but I mean, are you going to be stuck in a wheelchair during this period of time? Or, I guess, fuck it. Let's just ask ChatGPT just to really hone in on something, because I want to give you something that sounds... Also, fuck this keyboard. Holy shit, I can't find the keys ever, bro. Sorry. Roid rage. Peptide rage. Best arm exercises. So yeah. So yeah, you're gonna want to, yeah, like I said, it's if you're trying to encompass the entire arm, bicep exercises, barbell curls, dumbbell curls, hammer curls, tricep exercises, tricep dips, which is great. It's gonna hit your chest too. Close grip bench press, tricep push downs, forearm exercises, wrist curls, twerks. Who was that? Oh my goodness, Mammy Kitten with the 30 buckarenos. So who loves a good twerk? Can you imagine? Can just imagine you doing so. Listen to you while in the hospital help me relax. Well, I'm glad I can help there, Mammy, and thank you so much for the twerkable amount. Thank you. Forearm exercises, wrist curls, reverse curls, and then the compound exercises. So yeah, this one probably is going to be the compound ones, like chin-ups and pull-ups. So like the chin-up will hit more of the bicep, the pull-ups will hit more of the back, but then that mixed with like tricep dips will be more of like body weight stuff. That is if you can do the body weight stuff, obviously. And then push-ups you can do with chest body weight stuff. Those are going to be probably ones that I feel like you kind of want to be able to do anyways, just to help kind of get yourself around or up out of like positions that you might otherwise struggle with without feet. It just depends if you're comfortable with that. You can use bands too, but if you use a band, your foot's going to be involved, but I think you can put your knee in there too. But then you also have to like land, so you would have to land with the other foot and then have somebody like get you situated. So maybe that's not so good, but isolation exercises, preacher curls, skull crushers, supersetting and high intensity techniques, proper nutrition recovery, progressive overload, consistency. Yeah, I guess I just need to know more of your specific goals for that. You should get a P.O. box. You can send us fun stuff. You just want to send me dog shit covered in glitter. I know that's what you want to send. How many push-ups can I do? Meat eater. I think I used to do push-ups on the stream here. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a bit, yeah. Just like raw ones. What was the most I got on a stream? I feel like there was like a certain amount that I hit at one point. I don't know. Somebody just say 100 and I'll say 100. At one point, Josh set up an anonymous... Alright, I need to... At one point, Josh set up an anonymous Facebook group entitled something to the effect of Get Molly Help. Hidden behind a facade of compassion, Joshua made a series of faceless and baseless claims that Molly was suffering from a cocaine addiction. He added almost every one of Molly's friends, relatives, and online contacts to the group and ensured that a minor panic took place before the girl herself frantically refuted the claims. What I just described was just one of the many ways Josh terrorized Molly in the aftermath of their breakup, but most tended to be a digital form of harassment, which meant forwarding them to the police took just a click of a button. Seeing as Josh had no prior convictions, the police could only give him a warning, but a PC Philip... Wait, what does that mean? But a PC Philpott. Oh shit. Maybe Kitten with the 5. Gifters 2. Marcos Zapata. Daniel Nash. Nikki D. D-Dog. And Avi. Thank you, Mammy. Welcome to Buttersalt Call Friends. And another 5 gifters from Skidmark Steve. Welcome Sassy Squatch 207. Doogie. Blue Rose. Asia Spades. And Carol XO. Welcome, my friends. Thank you guys. You guys are a very wholesome chat. He even convinced me not to be mean to Pete Davidson and all his terrible everything. Okay, seeing as Josh had no prior convictions, the police could only give him a warning. But a PC Philpott from Kent Police issued a very stern one via telephone. What does that mean, PC Philpott? Is that a title? The PC? PC principal? It's very jolsome. But People's Constable. Oh, okay, thank you. Is Philpott something? Or is that his last name? Or their last name?
Mischievous dog. Mischievous dog.
Constable.
Mischievous dog.
What are your favorite movies or some movies you liked recently? Well, I did like that Smile movie, that one horror movie called Smile. It was surprisingly just like hit everything on point, you know, as far as movies, like horror movies go. Philpott is the name. I know that DC also means detective constable. Okay, so yeah, I guess People's Constable. It's just weird that it's... Hey, Lila, how are you? Did I watch The Fall yet? I have not. I have it written down. Same with the sands red turn red or something. Seeing as Josh had no prior convictions, the police could only give him a warning, but a People's Constable Philpott from Kent Police issued a very stern one via telephone. The harassment abated for a few days, but during that time, Joshua seemed to issue a chilling decree via a cryptic Facebook post. More to come, he said. With Joshua having backed off a little, Molly felt safe enough to attend a dinner date with friends. Just minutes prior to her arrival, she posted details of the dinner date on Snapchat, believing she'd successfully blocked all social media profiles associated with her former boyfriend. She was wrong. At one point, Molly looked up to see Josh, staring through the large front window of the restaurant directly at her. Friends urged her to pay no attention, but it was impossible. Molly felt so unsafe that she called a taxi and asked a member of the restaurant's waitstaff to escort her to the car. The incident repeated itself just days later on the evening of June 28th, when Joshua appeared in a pub Molly and her friends were drinking in. Not only was Josh stalking his ex-girlfriend online, he was stalking her friends too. Once again, Molly felt her safety had been compromised and fled the pub after calling a taxi. Yet despite this, there seemed to have been a general feeling that Josh was beginning to move on. Direct online harassment had all but ceased, and Josh had been spotted in the company of another girl, which must have been an encouraging indicator by any measure. Yet in hindsight, the lull in Josh's psychotic behavior appears to have been little but the calm before the storm. The next morning, on June 29th of 2017, Molly McLaren traveled to her local gym in the dockside area of Medway. A member of staff saw that she had entered the building at around 10:10 a.m. Then 35 minutes later, Molly sent a text message to her mother. "Mum," it said, "he's here, at the gym." Realizing that Josh was re-escalating his parasocial tendencies, Molly's mother advised her to return home immediately. She took the advice, returned to the girls' changing rooms for a shower, then exited the gym and walked to the car. At 11:02, Molly sent another text message to a group chat that she and her friends participated in. "It feels like I'm looking over my shoulder all the time," it read. It was the last text message she ever sent. Just as Molly tried to start up her car's engine, Joshua Stimson appeared from out of nowhere and yanked open her car door. Before Molly could even react, Josh plunged a small paring knife into her chest. Then, after pulling the keys from her grip, he began stabbing her over and over and over again.
Mischievous dog.
When a member of the public happened to notice the frenzied attack, they called out and began to intervene. Josh then threw the blade of the paring knife across Molly. Okay. Jesus Christ, dude. What the fuck, man? That's so fucking sad. Mammy Kitten and Skidmark Steve, thank you again for the gifters there. And LM2 says, watch when Evil Lurks, best horror film of the year. Evil Lurks. Let me look that one up. Did that just come out? It did. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out. I'm gonna watch a 2-minute trailer without you guys. Oh yeah, holy fuck. Looks pretty creepy. And Shorty Meg, welcome back for 13 months, says, "Thank you for another awesome live stream. Greatly appreciated. Quick but dumb, though. How can I find the story about old boy Skids?" Oh, I feel like that was one of the last 4chan stories, or 4chan episodes I had done. So I'm imagining if you went back to, like, one of the most recent 4chan episodes, and there's a playlist for that, you should be able to find it, I think. I'm fairly certain that's where that Skid story's from, is a 4chan story episode. I think. Methinks. Yeah, we could watch some trailers after this. Actually, it would be kind of fun watching like trailers of new shit coming out. Josh then drew the blade of the paring knife across Molly's throat, putting any chance of her survival firmly out of reach. He then locked himself in Molly's car, sat next to her still warm corpse, and awaited the arrival of police officers, telling them, "You want me," as he calmly handed himself over. Once he was secure, paramedics rushed to Molly's aid, but it was too late, and she was officially pronounced dead at exactly 11:43 a.m. Her family were beyond devastated, and the grief was only compounded when Josh began to plead not guilty, claiming temporary insanity and that he'd had no memory of the attack whatsoever. His defense team argued that all he wanted was a fair trial, but those who knew him had other ideas. Josh had punished Molly, and now he was going to punish her parents by dragging the matter through the nation's courts. During the trial, the prosecution dredged up dirt from Josh's previous relationships, arguing that both his previous 2 long-term girlfriends knew all about his controlling and possessive nature. And Alexandra Dale told the court that Joshua had once slashed the tires of her car after she threatened to leave him, and had once threatened to drown her during a Caribbean vacation. Leah Hubbard, Joshua's second ex-girlfriend, told the court that during one particularly vicious argument, Joshua had spat in her face before proceeding to physically abuse her. The court was also shown the pages. Skidmark Steve going to bed. Night, night. Peace out. Thank you again. Jacqueline32, what's up? What's up? Terrifier 3 has a trailer. Oh, I just don't give a shit about Terrifier. I mean, it's a pretty okay whatever. You know, it is what it is. You kind of want to watch it with people, but bleh. Chuck E. Cheese is removing animatronics from nearly 500 of their locations to distance themselves from FNAF? Why would they distance themselves from FNAF? FNAF just, like, was inspired by them. They also... Why would it even fucking matter? Isn't that the whole point of their system that they got going on with the animatronics? Unless they think kids are scared of them or some shit. Also, people say that sometimes, but it's probably just to bring attention to their stores. And a lot of, like, companies are downsizing since we're in a recession or whatever. Oh, they filed for bankruptcy. Yeah, that makes more sense. Caribbean or Caribbean? Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean. You decide. The court was also shown pages upon pages worth of digital evidence, which depicted Joshua Stimson as a dangerously unhinged individual who felt an unhealthy possessiveness over the woman in it. Fuck. The court was also shown pages upon pages worth of digital evidence, which depicted Joshua Stimson as a dangerously unhinged individual who felt an unhealthy possessiveness over the women in his life. At the trial's conclusion on February 6th of 2018, the jury took less than 4 hours to find Josh guilty of murder, after which a judge sentenced him to 26 years in prison. She told the court that this was an act of wickedness. You took away Molly's life quite deliberately in the most vicious fashion. You were determined to punish her for ending the relationship with you. You were seeking revenge. She was 23 years old, beautiful and intelligent. Her family's grief and anguish is raw and apparent for everyone to see. You are a highly dangerous young man, and you will pose a very considerable risk to women for a very considerable period in the future. But Molly's parents were not content with Josh's punishment alone. They wanted to make sure that no one would be able to commit the same act of callous evil ever again. They campaigned tirelessly for what's known as Domestic Homicide Review, which reviewed how Molly's case was dealt with by the relevant authorities. The subsequent report determined that Staffordshire police failed to adequately investigate allegations made against Joshua 4 years prior to Molly's murder. At this time, he was dating the previously mentioned Alexandra Dale, but her harassment via text messages wasn't recorded as a crime, and Joshua was merely sent a text by a police officer warning him to stay away. When Josh moved to Kent, Staffordshire police... Staffordshire. How was my day? It's good. It's a good day. Carb Bean. Pirates of the Carb Bean. Can we watch a Tire Fire trailer? I've never seen, only heard. Tire Fire. Mammy with the 5 says, if I sent a shirt for you to sign with paid send back, would you be my first? Well, I just try to keep my, like, mailing address and all that kind of stuff. I've never really done that before, and I try to keep my mailing address and all that kind of stuff private, so probably wouldn't be able to do that, but I do appreciate the idea. They'll have costume people instead of robots. Interesting. I'm surprised that Chuck E. Cheese still exists. Charles Entertainment Cheese. P.O. Box Yeah, no, I know. P.O. Box. I don't know if I want to do that. Because I don't exist. In physical reality, that is. A poo box, yeah, specifically. A poopy box. When Josh moved to Kent, Staffordshire police failed to notify their Kentish counterparts of Joshua's past, meaning he was not present on any of their local databases. Another section of the report reads as follows. The potential relevance of Staffordshire Police's involvement hinges on whether, had things been done differently, Kent Police might have found out about the 2013 incident in Staffordshire when Molly reported her concerns about Joshua in 2017. This could have been achieved in two ways. First, if Joshua had been named as a suspect for a crime, a search of the Police National Database, the PND, would have revealed this. Second, if he had been cautioned or convicted. Pradeep's litter box, yeah, you can send it there. Shit in it and bury in it. If you could have anything you want in the world, but you had to go into your cat's litter box and dig around there to find the item, would you do that? But it was also full of cat shit. Or no, what if, like, your cat shit and then buried their shit, and then you had to go in there and then the shit turned into the item that you wanted? Could you, but it also smelled like poop for a little bit, would you deal with it? Also, you have to eat all the cat poop in the box. Oh, you guys said yep. You gotta eat all the cat shit in the box. Those are the rules of this hypothetical. Adri with the 2 says, good night, Pookies. See y'all Thursday. Thank you, Adri. Good to see you. Sleep tight. Thank you again. Second, if he had been cautioned or convicted of a criminal offense, this would have been recorded on the Police National Computer, or the PNC. And as a result of the Domestic Homicide Review, Staffordshire Police officially changed its policies surrounding criminal harassment, meaning officers are now required to record stalking as a crime, even if victims don't want to take matters further. If this were to occur in the United States, it might be given a moniker such as Molly's Law, and it's a shame that the British police don't follow suit. After all, such a concrete change in the way the police do their jobs will undoubtedly have an effect on the way they handle future cases of harassment. We can only hope that in some sense, Molly's death was not in vain, and that her parents' efforts have secured the safety and prosperity of many young women to come. You think you're done here, E. Kuntz? You think you can just leave? You think you can just walk on out, huh? Think you can just close the window on the internet? Well, think again. Also, I'm done here too, since that was the last story. We gotta read the outro. Alright, somebody help me think of something fucking funny to say at the end. No, don't tell them to get. They have to stay. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m., and there are super fun live streams every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let'sReadOfficial, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks offered for the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in big compilations and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And I'll see you. Well, fuck, what should we say? Bro, my daughter is obsessed with you. Can you say hi? Azara Levi loves you. Yippee! Hello, hello. Hope you guys are doing good. Thank you for the kind words. Good to see you. Yeah, what do we say? Also, if you guys want to stick around, I'm probably going to watch some movie trailers. Some scary movie trailers. I remember Pete Davidson dumped me. Why? Yeah, I'm probably going to say that. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, Pete Davidson dumped me. Wah. It'd be a good follow-up from the last one. Tinder's better when you oop. Woo, woo. Alright, friends. I'm going to switch us over to our reaction screen. But first, I'm going to find... You know how, like, sometimes YouTube, some people upload, like, best fiends content? No, like, horror movie trailers, maybe 2023? Ooh, that's a solid amount of them. We can judge those 2 weeks ago. What do you think? What do you think? Read some trailers, yeah.
Hell yeah, brother, let's do it. Let's go on do it, baby.
Alright, let's see. Elevator music. Gotta have it, gotta have it. Whoa. Okay. I wish this was like quicker. I wish I could like boom, 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 but I'm not very boom, boom, boom with it lately. I'm more like... Okay. Well. Here we go. Here we go. Ho, ho, ho. In a world where everything is spooky and scary. I haven't done this in a little while. I have to do. All right, here we go, baby. You guys ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Rapid trailer. Just let me know if anything's too louder. Oh shit. Blah blah blah. Gotta have a typical Christmas fucking horror movie. Oh shit. Of course. Sorry. Right when the jump scare comes up, I just completely block out.
There's something in the barn.
What do you mean something?
So what do you think happened?
It's
Probably some
Krampus.
kids.
Woo.
That's a barn elf.
Are they real?
Oh shit, Barn Elf movie?
Yes.
Dude, I hope
First
somebody
off,
gets
the
like
barn elf doesn't
their
like
skin
changes
eaten off
to
or
the barn.
something.
That looks good. Secondly, he hates bright artificial light.
This is, oh my god, they even have an actual little elf.
Huh? Motion activated.
No!
He hates that. Holy fuck, he's getting his weapons.
You're in Norway now, okay? Nothing bad.
Dude,
ever
Norway.
happens.
Holy shit, I was gonna say. Dude, this is Robin. Robin is starring in this movie.
What's going on here?
We are under attack.
Where's your gun?
I don't have a gun.
I didn't have
What?
a gun.
This isn't Detroit, Bill.
Oh my god.
What on earth did you do to make them so mad?
We broke all the rules.
I hope it, holy shit. Gore and laughter in equal measure. Okay, well that's good.
Do about it.
I'm
See, I
going
kind of
to
want to
swipe
see
this
like
area for
elves.
fingerprints, and then I'll call the forensics and
I kind of want to see elves eating like people's skin. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just want like
Angel Falls,
something serious.
I give you Christmas.
The lights are so pretty. This is perfect.
Yeah, horror comedy mashups are pretty solid.
What did you eat?
Oh my gosh!
Please wake up. Mineral waters?
Oh, they solved it. That's it right there.
Last Christmas still haunts me.
Time to let that go.
No one cares.
I know what you did
Everyone
last
would
Christmas.
be better off if I was never born.
This just might be an A24 film.
Oh my god. I stood under the aurora and said everyone would be better off if I never existed.
I kind of like the pure,
granted.
like the pure white
Angel strikes every couple of
vibe
weeks.
How
of
can that
the,
be?
Do I know you?
It's Winnie. You
you know, the
that.
movie Monster, but
Hi. Hi, I'm Henry Waters. You're safe now. He's not gonna get you. Hi, I'm Henry
also it's really weird to see this guy as like he's he's like playing like the older character now, because he was always, yeah, Justin Long was always just sort of like a kid in everything, even whenever he was like older. And it wasn't until like that Zack and Miri movie. Remember the Zack and Miri make a porno movie? He played kind of like a weird pervert in that. And it kind of like gave a demonstration of like, okay, he's getting older or whatever. But I don't know. It's just really strange to, I feel like some people just don't age.
Waters. You're safe now.
He almost
He's not
looks like he has to
gonna
have
get
like
you.
makeup on just to appear older.
No one in this town knows me.
Who are you?
Dad. You were
Joel
around to stop
McHale,
him, so
there he
just
is.
kept going. He likes killing.
I'm here now.
Let's have some fun.
Hey, you.
Hey. Merry Christmas. We gotta stop him. And get my life back.
You'll be safe now.
Oh, he was in Barbarian? Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. I guess, like, if you're one of those stars that have kind of been away for a while, like
What if
horror
I told
movies.
you that we live in hell?
Horror movies are kind of like the place to be. Also, I'm not sure if that one looks that good. Remind you of that one horror movie with the girl who's been repeating birthdays and had to find her killer. The guy's not even aged to even have noticed it. Yeah, it's kind of sus to not be going alive. I thought about. Yeah, he must be just like drinking somebody's blood. I don't know. Hey, it really does look almost identical to this as he did back in Jeepers Creepers. Like, that's what's fucking crazy. He might legitimately be the Jeepers Creepers monster. Shudder, the next sci-fi original. Yeah.
Hell already.
Do you think that we see the entirety of everything that's around us in the world?
What the fuck?
We rely on our senses to experience the world. But can we say with certainty that there isn't more to the world than what we perceive with our senses?
Bound to keep you up at
Still
night.
don't tell me what you're working on.
No.
Scary Root Man.
If I tell you, you too will think I'm crazy.
You know the pond is artificial. It was made by people so they could go fishing. And there's some theory about a crazy fish.
There are symbols everywhere. In the woods, in the ponds, even in my home.
Actually, I kind of like... If it's mysterious, I'm down with that.
Do not wake him up. He is dreaming. If he opens his
This is Children of the Corn 2.
eyes, he will not see us anymore. If he wakes up, we will cease to exist. If we stop playing to him, he will have nightmares.
Darkness drops again.
The Pond. I mean, I guess if it's like a psychological one that's all over the place and not just like a slasher, sometimes I kind of prefer those. Hot Babe in the Cabin, part 69. Why is the sound so fucked for this one?
Ryan?
Spiritual Electric Meat here, checking in. Why even go out in the middle of a cabin?
Ryan?
Why even leave your house at all?
Hello?
Furiously adds to watch list.
Tamara?
Hey, Fox Furby, see you later.
No. We already told you there is no Tamara here.
She's rocking that lipstick. Watch the trailer for Lamb. A redhead? Now you got my attention. Why is she staying near the door? It's like a knife gonna go right through that shit.
Hello?
Ready for another jump scare? The tension is there. What? Oh, locked, okay. The Tree Man? Oh, this is The Strangers. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I actually watched that recently. It's terrible, but it's funny. Like, oh, it's kind of funny. I would say the sheriff in that movie did like the best acting job. What the fuck is this trailer? Literally all of that just to... Oh, it's a Shudder flick. Do you need subtitles? Do you guys like subtitles?
Hello?
What the flick? There's blood in everywhere. Wait, are these two separate movies? What the fuck? There's just like an automatic sniper everywhere.
You have to call the police, please.
It's just a movie about being stuck under fucking sniper fire. It's like World War II, but at a gas station.
Who are you?
Wait, so that movie with the redhead was like a completely separate trailer? Like, what the fuck was that?
Importantly, who the fuck do you think you are?
I don't know.
The way we've lived. The repercussions of our actions.
Oh my god.
There's someone shooting at the store!
She's got the little mirror.
I'm being shot at all night, and the moment that you get here, it all stops.
We seem to be stuck, you and me.
Dude, also, this is like one of those movies that, like, they ruin it by showing you everything in the trailer.
Think I should feel guilt? We share that gene.
They should have got a guy with a better voice.
Survivors.
We are survivors. We are survivors. It's just gonna be like some crazy southerner who is scared of the end of the world or some trope. Okay, this better be vampires or I'm fucking closing.
This is Patrol Volunteer J1987. Reporting a stray in wooded area.
Okay, just stay calm. They're not hostile.
A stray?
Beth, you can't keep blaming yourself. What happened?
Something's happening that I don't understand. I keep having these dreams. These dreams are so vivid.
Of naked women.
But they're not real. And yet, they're connected to something real. Something in me.
Well, sorry, yeah, the name of the redhead movie was The Strangers Chapter 1 trailer. So that actually was The Strangers. Funny. Like a prequel.
Possible for the things we do in our dreams to change our lives while we're awake.
Those people, things, they're getting worse. And I wonder if it's meds.
Just because you have some witchy immunity doesn't mean you can drag me into dangerous situations.
I kind of like that there's almost like a story going on in the back of this that I don't quite understand, but it's really weird.
Humanity. You gotta treat them with a little humanity. Because that's what we do. We care.
What the fuck is going on? That was a weird one. Oh, dude. This is the one... No, wait. Wintertide. Never mind. I thought that there was like one that you guys mentioned earlier that I should check out. Or wait, is this? Oh yeah, When Evil Lurks. This is the one you mentioned, dude. What the flick? Hey, Cassandra V with the 2 says testes. Testes, 1, 2, 3. You got it. You tested it right. Wait, so is this movie out yet? Because I do kind of want to see it now.
Hay un embichado en el pueblo. Estás asustando a mi familia. ¡Lo vi con mis propios ojos! ¡Estuve con él! Esto va a ser un infierno.
That was my favorite goat,
Tenemos que
Dad.
encontrar a la bestia. Antes de que nazcan más.
Ruh-roh.
Los tiempos de la fe se terminan rápido.
Wonder what's been like the most legitimate exorcism case in the history of exorcisms. Joel Pulling all-nighter. Just watching trailers, bro. Love trailers. Oh my god. Fucking COVID movie.
May I come in?
Hell yeah.
ห้ามไม่ให้ออกจากห้องเหรอ
หนูกล้าพูดเนาะใครเป็นอะไรตายเหรอ
เราไม่รู้ว่าใครครับ น่าจะเป็นฆาตกรรมครับ
นี่ผมเป็นอะไรต้องกังวลเป็นพิเศษหรือเปล่า
มีคนตายขนาดนี้ยังจะคิดปิดบังความจริง
ส่วนฆาตกรเนี่ยมึงยังไม่รู้เลยว่าเป็นใคร
I don't know why, but their like dialogue doesn't really match the tension of the movie or the tension of the music. I'm not sure why, but their like audio seems like it's like recorded on a iPhone. The monster.
โรงแรมกูจะจัดการยังไงก็เรื่องของกูมึงอย่าเสือก
นี่พวกคุณกำลังสร้างสถานการณ์ถ่ายอะไรกันอยู่หรือเปล่า
ใช่มีคนจ่ายเงินให้คุณมาดิสเครดิตโรงแรมผม
You just made me yawn. I won't forget that.
คุณคือผู้ต้องสงสัยนะครับ
Yeah, the tentacle coming out of the face did look cool. Looked pretty realistic.
ไปก่อน
See, this is what COVID. This is what I thought COVID was for the first 3 days. Right there.
She has the perfect life, the perfect husband,
Eat me.
the perfect career,
I want to help you.
Everything's
the
perfect.
perfect flesh.
What just happened?
From the
I came.
Psyche.
of Joe Lynch.
It felt so real. I was in his body.
And the universe of
H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, a Lovecraft movie?
Really?
Wait, isn't that like a pretty famous actress right there? Isn't that like Catherine Zadel or something like that?
Sorry. Wrong number. This.
Yeah, I wear a mask while streaming. I don't want to get you guys sick.
What's going on with you?
Me? I'm just dandy. Brandy?
These trailers are really all over the place, though. Heather Graham. Okay, that
What
makes
happened to Elizabeth Derby?
You have to believe me, Danny.
Heather Graham Cracker.
It's a fantasy to spice up your sex life. I think I'm losing my mind.
This is like some shit on like the WB. I don't want to fucking watch this one. Stupid. Boo!
I tried.
There's a Hell Yeah Housewives movie. Oh shit.
Wait, please.
A new face in terror. I feel like everybody just like so badly wants to create the next
to cover up for something
Michael
inside your
Myers.
gut. It is festering, gnawing at you. I know you can feel it. You try to bury it. But that rot is spreading, a decaying hole swallowing your heart.
Is he lecturing the monster?
Man, there's blood on you. Is it yours?
Man, is this your blood?
believed in ghosts.
It's like filmed really well, but then like it has random bits of the acting, and the acting seems fucking shitty. The Jester. Everything's got to be like some variation of a clown nowadays.
Bravo, 6-Fox 40. Sensors are picking up at 1060 in your sector. Copy, Romeo. Coordinates?
Now this one's gonna be good. It's out in the middle of nowhere, so... Yep, ominous boy across the water. Is this Ya Llorona?
What happened?
He was out cold. Next thing I know, he has me on the ground.
Did you see the gun in his possession? They were fighting for it.
Then your weapon in your holster.
Oh, this is some sci-fi channel shit right here. When it just like feels like it's like you're watching TV channel dialogue, but like in a movie trailer. It's such a weird thing.
Never laid eyes on him.
Oh shit, we got some fucking stinkers.
Nothing to do with this.
This is El Chupacabro. You're right, actually. What the hell?
All you do is lie. I've tried it.
Haunting and enigmatic. This looks like a trailer for The Walking Dead. For the 25th season. Ya Yawona.
No matter what I do, he just keeps going back.
Does he hurt anybody? Or he just kind of is creepy? El Chupacabro. Anyone watch Bone Tomahawk? It's so good. Dude, I want to watch that. I've heard about it. Alright, so this is a new movie. A Manny Halley production. Hell yeah.
Who are you?
I'm your Tinder
last thing I
date.
remember, two guys came out of nowhere and jumped me.
Hey! Hey, someone please help!
Dude, acting is fucking hard. Oh my god, this guy.
The matchmaker.
Holy crap.
Sign up for soulmates before the
Oh, it is a Tinder date. What the fuck? I knew this. It's Tinder mixed with Saw. Dude, we're out of ideas.
Strangers together. Someone is definitely watching us.
Yeah.
1 of 5. It's a game.
It's a game. You realize that? If we don't play right, that guy gets chopped up into little bits. What are we gonna do?
We just almost died.
I don't know if I can work together with you. We have a bit of a history, don't you remember? One that keeps me from burying my ego and just doing what we need to do. What a throw. What form.
Breathe! Just breathe!
Getting to know you, getting to know all.
Dude, all of these fucking movies look like they're gonna be like ABC channel originals. Playing right after the show 24.
A hidden island.
Alright, this is some
You go
James
in,
Bond shit. Whoa.
Get a client and get
Cool.
out.
Cool gun, guys.
No one is
She
safe.
got jump scared.
No one. Where is everybody?
You guys hear that?
You did too?
Yeah, it was spooky.
The sound is freaking me out.
Leader, no!
It's a big fucking
Network
silencer.
functions have been disabled.
What is going on?
Frequencies beyond our range of hearing cause problems in the neural pathways.
Frequencies beyond our range. God damn it. All this shit is like straight out of fucking Sci-Fi Channel. It just... Damn it. I guess I can't expect like every fucking big major flick to be in this, but maybe 2024 will have some good ones. Dead Island, the
What the hell
movie.
was that?
Keep your eyes open.
For what?
We gotta move!
This looks like Lost,
need to
like an
find a
episode
way
of
off
fucking
this
Lost. Even like that right there. It's like how they advertise it. Ah, shit. Well, okay, I would honestly say the only one that looked mildly good to me, the Pond could be decent. This one with like the guy with like the root head. And then I will say this Winter Tide one might be decent, but then it kind of made a joke of itself at the end. But then I would say When Evil Lurks. Someone mentioned that earlier in the stream to check out the trailer, and that one actually looks pretty solid. Just because, I don't know. Seems pretty straightforward. But, alright. Yeah, all of those look like pretty bad, actually. Maybe next time, well, we can watch better trailers next time, maybe for 2024 or whatever, but we can also watch some short films next time too, if I start streaming early enough. Bingus, boongus, bing, bing, bong. Watch the Avatar trailer from Netflix. What's that one about? I'm probably gonna take off here. It's about 2 a.m. I gotta go feed my gremlin. But you guys rock. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support tonight, the love, the appreciation, for hanging out. I'm gonna get these Tinder stories up and posted over on Patreon first thing. It's only $1 a month over there. You get early access, and you can do a free trial. And then I'll get it up on YouTube, same time, same place, 7 p.m. tonight, Wednesday, for your viewing pleasure, your sleepy time pleasure. If you haven't checked out the Deep Web video, be sure to check that out. And there's a new podcast up on wherever you listen to podcasts, Let's Read Podcasts. But thanks for hanging out, guys. Appreciate you. And yes, I will... Yeah, it's girl dinner. It is girl dinner time. But I have to get to Betty by, so... Have a great day wherever you are in the world. Today, tomorrow. And I'll see you again soon. Adios.